Hey, it's Nathan Williams with Crazy Ad Marketing, and in this video, you're going to learn how to become a Facebook ads master in about 2.5 hours. So this video right here is a compilation of 6 videos that I've merged together into one big super long video, but it covers everything you need to know about Facebook ads. We've got the Facebook Business Manager, we got Pixel, audiences, campaigns, retargeting, and then optimization and scaling. So we cover all that stuff, but you might hear me reference in another video or something like that, but it's all right here in one video. So let's just get straight into it. Hey there, it's Nathan Williams with Crazy Ad Marketing, and in this video we're going to be talking about Facebook's Business Manager. It's something you're going to want to set up if you're serious about running ads on Facebook, so let's get into it. Alrighty, so first things first, if you don't already have one already, you're going to want to set up a Business Manager account, and it's really easy to do. You just go to business.facebook.com and you'll hit the Create Account button in the top right hand corner, and you go through those steps there. It's very self-explanatory, you're not going to mess that up. But the reason you want a Business Manager account over a individual ad account or a personal ad account is because the Business Manager account has a lot more power, a lot more options, a lot more functionality with the Business Manager account. And when you're running ads and you're spending your hard-earned money, you want to have as much power and flexibility as possible, and the Business Manager is the way to do that. So if you don't have a Business Manager account, go set one up and then continue on here. So you should come to a page that looks something like this right here. If you don't see the business settings section, just click the menu and you should see business settings. So you can click business settings here or business settings here, and you should come to something like this. You might be on a different tab or whatever, but concept remains the same. Now, when you first land here, it looks like there's a ton of options, right? And there's a lot of stuff in here. But the good thing is we only have to focus on a few things right now to get set up. So we're going to focus on those few things. And over time, if you want to come in here and poke around, by all means, go ahead and do that. But for now, we're just going to get the basics set up and ready to go. So starting off, I want to come down to accounts and we'll go into pages. So what we do in the business settings area or the business manager is we add all of our information. So all of our pages, all of our accounts like Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, etc., our ad account information, our pixel information, all that stuff we want to put in the business manager, so that way we can connect it all and Facebook knows like this ad account is connected to this page and it's connected to this Instagram account and it's connected to this WhatsApp account and it's connected to this website. We want to know all that type of information all in one place, and we want to tell Facebook that it's all connected so Facebook can use their algorithm and give you better results, right? So that's kind of the idea here, is we put in all of our accounts and connect them all, and that gives Facebook a better view of what we have going on. So we're going to start with pages here, and we want to go ahead and add the pages that we're advertising with. So you click this add button. We got a few options, so we can add a page. So if we already own a page, we click this option. We can request access to a page. So if we're trying to access a page that we don't own already, we can go ahead and use that. Or we can go ahead and create a brand new page right here from this menu. So I'm going to go ahead and do add a page, and this probably won't work because this page is already connected to another Business Manager account, and I'd probably have to go in there and give them admin access and all sorts of stuff, but you'll get the point. So let's say I want to add my Crazy Ad Marketing page. So I just search for my page and I'd go ahead and click add page. And we see that this page is currently owned by Crazy Ad Marketing and linked with an Instagram business profile. Add both now by entering the Instagram password. All right, so there you go, your Instagram account. You'll want to load that in. And since I've already connected the Instagram account to my page, well, it already connected those things together. So let me go ahead and add all real quick, and we'll go through this process, see if it lets me add it. I don't think it will, but hey, it's worth a shot. All right, so I got an error message. You can't add this page to your Business Manager account because it is the primary page for another business. So that's what I kind of figured. Like, I created this simple ad account, or this simple account here called Facebook Ads Course. So this isn't a real business that I'm setting up. So I'm not going to mess with my real business stuff. But that's how you do it. You come in here, you add a page, or if you need to request access to a page that you don't own, well, then you do that option. Alternatively, we can create a new page. I'm going to actually create a brand new page here just real quick, just for example here. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the training. Real quick, I have a special offer that I want to present to you where you can get a digital copy of my book as well as an audio copy. Plus, I'm giving away 20 pre-written emails that make your email writing a piece of cake. And finally, I have a 7-figure funnel. It's the first funnel that I built that generated over 7 figures for a small business, and it includes training on how to actually set up the funnel. If you're interested in that, plus several other bonuses, link in the description down below, or there'll be a link in the little box up above here. So if you're interested, check it out. Back to the training. FB Ads Course, and choose a category. App page sounds good. Create page. And so boom, just like that, I've created a Facebook page, and I could go ahead and view the page if I want to. And of course, if I created a page this way, I need to come in here and update the page and add a banner and all that stuff. But for demonstration purposes, this is good enough. So I've got my page. Up next, you'll want to go ahead and do your ad accounts. So same concept with the pages. You click this add button so you can add an ad account. So if you already have an ad account, or you can also, I believe you can also import your individual account. So if you set up a personal account already and you want to import it to your business manager, I believe you can do that. So if you already have a personal account and you want to try and pull it in here, you can try and do that. Otherwise, you can go ahead and add an ad account or request access to an ad account or create a new ad account. I'm just going to create a brand new one for sake of example here. But if you need to add one, the instructions are very simple. So let's go with next. And this ad account will be used for my business here. And I'll go ahead and hit create. And now it wants me to go ahead and add people and set permissions. And we'll do that since we're here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my name here. And I want to give full permissions here to manage the ad account because, you know, I want all unrestricted access. So I'll go ahead and hit assign. And it wants me to go ahead and add payment info, but I'll do that later on. But you could do it right then and there. We're going to skip over business asset groups for now. If you have an app, you can go ahead and add an app, of course. So you can go through that process. Instagram accounts, recommend go ahead and add your Instagram account. If you have a business Instagram account, definitely do that. Line of business is a bit of an advanced feature. We're not going to worry about it. WhatsApp account, same concept. If you have a WhatsApp account for your business, go ahead and add it here. Coming on down here, we have catalog. So if you have like an e-commerce store, you can go ahead and add a catalog listing here. So I recommend going and doing that. If you have like a Shopify store, there's a way to connect it to your Facebook Ads Manager, your Facebook Business Manager. So I recommend doing that. Pixels right here, we'll go ahead and add a pixel. And go ahead and give your pixel a name and make sure you enter your website in here so Facebook knows what website this pixel is for. And if you have multiple domains, that's okay. Like your pixel's not going to be restricted to this one domain. You could put your pixel on all sorts of domains if you wanted to, but your primary domain, I recommend just throwing in that domain here for your pixel. But yeah, you can put your pixel on any other domain. Like if you have a ClickFunnels property or Shopify property, a WordPress property, and you have multiple properties that all go to the same business and you're gonna be using the same pixel for all those properties, well, that's fine. Okay, that might have different domains, but it won't impact, whatever you put here won't impact those settings. Just go ahead and hit continue then. And it asks me if I'm ready to set up my pixel, and I'm just gonna continue managing my business at this point in time. And I forgot one step, so when you're here under the pixel, we need to go ahead and assign it to our ad account as well. So we're under pixels, we want to go to add assets here, and we want to select add account and select the ad account that we just created, and we'll go ahead and hit add now. So one ad account has been added to the Facebook, or the Pixel Facebook Ads course pixel, hit done. And okay, so just wanted to do that real quick, forgot to address it the first time. Back to the video. Coming on down here, we got offline events, custom conversions, event source groups, shared audiences, business creative folders, and we're not going to worry about any of that right now. These are all more advanced settings, so we're not going to worry about it. Instead, we want to come up here to business asset groups at this time, and we want to go ahead and create a business asset group. So let's go ahead and do that. And this asks us how we want to go ahead and organize our work. So basically what we're doing here is we're creating groups of pages, ad accounts, and other business assets to help us organize our work. So we'll go ahead and select what's relevant here. I want to do separate brands or line of business, but you can select what's relevant here. Just separate, it doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to go ahead and do Facebook Ads course. So you can go ahead and name your business asset group. And now we go ahead and say what pieces are part of the same puzzle. So we have my page here, so that's the same. I want this page connected to this ad account over here and connected to this pixel over here. If I had an Instagram account, I'd go ahead and connect it. Offline event sets, I'd go ahead and click that, and maybe I'll just go ahead and do that because we have a default. So we'll go with that. Catalogs, go ahead and connect my catalog. Apps, custom conversions, business creative folder. So you connect all your different assets together right here under the business asset group. Okay, that's the idea. We'll go ahead and hit next now. And now we want to go ahead and give the person permissions. So I'm going to go ahead and click all, and all, and all, and all. Give you probably want to give yourself access to everything, is maybe my assumption. So just make sure you have access to everything. Oh, missed one. And come on down and hit create. And so I've successfully created Facebook ads course business asset group and given access to Nathan Williams. I have permission to all these things right here. So cool, done. And so that's the first thing I wanted to show you here, was connecting your accounts and data sources and combining them all together in a business asset group. Very important that you do that, because again, it helps Facebook know what's connected and it helps you stay organized, and it just makes your life easier by having it all together in one place. Now, quickly, since we're here, let's talk about people. So if you want to add additional people to your ads manager or your page or something like that, you just come in here to people and you can go ahead and add, and then you can go ahead and add them by their email address. So you'll want to go ahead and add their email address here, and then you can go ahead and assign different roles. So I'm just going to do employee access at this point, but you can do admin access, and you'll see you can pick and choose what you want them to have access to on this next page, like you see here. So if you want them to have access to your page, you can go ahead and, you know, give them whatever access you want to. Same concept over here with ad accounts. So if you want to give them not access to a page, but only your ad accounts, you could go ahead and do that. Or same concept with catalogs or apps or the different assets over here. And then you just go ahead and invite them and get them access to whatever section you want to give them access to. So that's how that kind of works there. Additionally, you can go ahead and update the access people have. So you can click on the people, come over here to the person, and then you can go ahead and look at their assigned assets, and you can go ahead and modify them if you want to do that. So if you are like, oh shoot, I gave that person too much access, or I don't like that person anymore, you can restrict their access or delete them even. I can't delete myself because I'm the only person in here, but if you have additional people in here, you can delete them. You'd see an option up here to delete them. So if you had somebody come into your ad account for a month or whatever, doing some consulting work, and then you want them out of there, you can go ahead and delete them. So that's kind of handy right there. But that's how you do users. Same concept holds true with partners. So a partner is like another ad manager account. So you could add another ad manager account, and then they could control different sections of your ad manager account. It's kind of advanced. Usually you're doing it with other digital marketing agencies, and you probably wouldn't do it within a small business. But if you hire a digital marketing agency, they'd probably walk you through the process of how to connect via partner system. We're not going to worry about system users. Coming on down here, we have brand safety. So you could go ahead and add domains that are whitelisted. So this could be handy in letting Facebook know like what pages are acceptable to track versus which pages are not good to track. So if you have issues with your pixel, this is when you'd come in here and you'd probably mess around. I typically don't mess around with this unless there's some sort of random issue, because I'd rather there be too much information flowing into Facebook than not enough. And this could kind of restrict the type of information flowing into Facebook. So I'd say don't mess with this unless you start having some crazy problems with your pixel and people hacking your pixel or something like that. But I don't see that really happening. Moving on down here, of course, there's payments. So you want to make sure that you have a payment method connected, so that way, you know, you can run your ads. And then finally, we'll come down here to business info. So the word on the street is if you verify your business, you have a better chance of not having your ad accounts shut down. So sometimes Facebook shuts down ad accounts, especially if they're in like a gray area. So if you're dealing with like health or something like that, or money, like kind of, you might be, you know, tiptoeing around something that's could be perceived, you know, negatively or something like that. I recommend going through the business verification process, so that way you can you have less chance of your accounts getting shut down. So if you have some sort of gray area, or just, you know, standard practice should be to verify your business, just so that way you have less chance of your account being shut down. So I recommend doing this process if you're serious about running ads, is going through this business verification status, and you just hit view details and go through the process here for authenticating your business. Other than that, all these other options in here, you know, you can play around with over time. The main stuff to remember is to go ahead and connect all your accounts and all of your data sources, and then link them together in this business asset group. That's like the main thing I wanted to show you in this video, because it's very important to do all that connection and linking, so that way you can track stuff properly. Also, if you're adding people, you want to know how to do that with the people up here, and you can easily add them and remove them from different elements and assets that you have. So that's handy to know. And finally, the security center, or if you come to business info and business verification status, you want to go through the process and verify your business if you're serious about doing your Facebook advertising correctly. Alrighty, so I hope you enjoyed the training. Now I have a quick special offer for you. So if you want a digital copy as well as an audio copy of my book here, as well as 20 pre-written emails to make your email copywriting a piece of cake, and I also have a 7-figure funnel. It's the first funnel that I built that generated over 7 figures of revenue for a small business, and the funnel includes a course on how to set it up and also how to actually sell that funnel to small businesses. So if you're interested in starting a digital marketing agency, that course and that funnel are an ideal option for you. And there's a bunch of other benefits and stuff, bonuses and stuff. Anyway, link in the description down below, or there's going to be a little button probably up here in the video if you're interested in checking it out. Yeah, just check it out if you're interested. And other than that, I hope you have a great rest of the day. Hey, what's up? It's Nathan Williams here with Crazy on Marketing, and in this video we talk all about the Facebook pixel. We talk about some background information on what the pixel is and what it allows you to do. Then we go into the events manager and we set up the pixel, we install the pixel, we use the event setup tool to set up events, and so we got a lot to cover. Let's get into it. Alright, so I want to cover a few things first, then we'll go over to the ads manager and poke around and show you some pixel stuff. So, of course, without the Facebook pixel, you will fail, okay? You need to have the Facebook pixel set up and properly configured. Otherwise, there's no way you're going to beat other businesses that are advertising on Facebook that do have their Facebook pixel set up, because so much optimization and tracking comes from you having your Facebook pixel set up, installed, configured, all that stuff, and done properly. So if you don't do it, you're going to fail. So this is very important to pay attention to the pixel, get it set up properly, and don't run ads until you understand how the pixel works, and make sure that you have it set up properly on your website. So the Facebook pixel, simply put, is just a snippet of JavaScript code. So it's a little block of code that you're going to put on your website, and you'll see how that works in a minute here. And what it does is it allows Facebook to track people on your website. So Facebook can't track people when they leave Facebook unless you have a pixel on your website, and then Facebook can see what pages they're landing on, what they're looking at, what they're clicking on, what they're buying, what they're opting in for. All that type of stuff can be tracked when you have the pixel on your website. So like I was just saying, you can track events and conversions. So this could be clicks, they could be opts in, they could be page views, they could be purchases. All that type of stuff can be tracked with the Facebook pixel. Also, use the Facebook pixel to create custom audiences. So you can create these, and another name for custom audiences are retargeting audiences. So these could be people that have visited your website or opted in for something or bought something and so on. So you can create audience of people that have performed certain actions, whether it's opting in or buying or whatever it might be. So that makes it very powerful, and it's also how you retarget people. So you can retarget people that landed on your website and didn't opt in, or landed on your website but didn't buy something. So you can do all sorts of stuff thanks to the Facebook pixel. And also you can create lookalike audiences from custom audiences. So let's say that you have an audience, a custom audience of buyers. So you have 1,000 people bought your product. What you can do then is create a lookalike audience of those buyers. So Facebook will go out and find the closest percent of a population, like the United States population, find the closest percent that looks like your buyer's custom audience. So that can be a very powerful way to scale up your marketing efforts, is by using lookalike audiences, which are built from your custom audiences, which are built thanks to your Facebook pixel being properly installed and configured on your website. Now, several platforms do have native integrations or plugins with the Facebook pixel, and so if you're using one of these types of platforms that already are properly configured to work with the Facebook pixel, you're going to want to go through that platform and set up the Facebook pixel that way. So because they have it connected, so that way it's tracking events properly, it's triggering when people purchase things, and so on. So for example, like WordPress, they have plugins, lots of different Facebook pixel plugins. Shopify natively integrates with the Facebook pixel. Thrivecart, Samcart, Squarespace, etc. They all integrate nicely and play nicely with the Facebook pixel. So if you have a platform that already plays nicely with the Facebook pixel, you're going to want to go through that platform to set up your Facebook pixel. And if you have questions about it, Google's a great place to look because other people will have installed the Facebook pixel on your particular platform. Or of course you can ask me, I'll try and help you out, get you pointed in the right direction. But if you don't have a platform that already plays nicely with the Facebook pixel, well then you'll probably want to use either a manual integration or you'll want to use the event setup tool. And I'll cover the event setup tool in a few minutes on this particular video here. So you'll see how it works. But my recommendation is if your platform already plays nicely with the Facebook pixel, go through that integration. You're not going to be able to beat that. All right, so Facebook pixel, number one rule of thumb. So this is important right here. And it is 1 pixel per business. 1 pixel per business. So what that means is, like, you might have a WordPress website, you might have some funnels on ClickFunnels or something like that. You might be using Thrivecart, you might be using Shopify, but if it's all the same business, like you have funnels for that same business on Thrivecart and on ClickFunnels and on WordPress, like you have 3 different platforms, but it's all for one business, you'll use that same pixel for all those different platforms if it's the same business. Okay, so that confuses a lot of people. They keep wanting to make 1 pixel per platform. So they want a pixel for their WordPress site and a different pixel for their ClickFunnels and a different pixel for their Thrivecart, and that doesn't work. Okay, if it's all for the same business, the same pixel goes on all those different platforms. Okay, that way Facebook can track how people are engaging on your WordPress website and on your ClickFunnels and on your Shopify store. And they can track all those different sources and help you take advantage of the algorithm and do a better job with your marketing and advertising efforts. So want to put that up there. 1 pixel per business. Okay, it's not 1 pixel per platform. Okay, so hopefully that's clear. If you have questions, feel free to ask. Now here are some of the events you can use to track with the Facebook pixel. So there's purchase events, lead generation, complete registration, so maybe like a webinar or they filled out a form, add payment info, add to cart, add to wish list, initiate checkout search, view content, subscribe, schedule, contact, start trial, submit application, and then there's also custom events you can create as well. So there's a whole myriad of different options you can choose from. You'll probably use 2 to 3 of them, really. You'll probably use like the purchase one, maybe lead generation, maybe add to cart, maybe view content, and then maybe you have a couple custom events. So you probably won't use all of them, but they are out there, and we'll talk about these events later on. But events are important. You want to make sure that you are tracking events properly. So wherever a lead event should occur, you want to make sure that's set up properly. And again, if you already have a platform that supports the Facebook pixel, well, they're going to help you with that. Otherwise, using the event setup tool, like we're about to do in a minute here, you'll see how you could trigger particular events if somebody lands on a page or clicks on a button or something like that. So a bunch of different ways you can track these events, but you want to track them because this is what tells Facebook when somebody does something, right? So you're telling Facebook when somebody lands on this page, they became a lead. Or if somebody lands on this page, it's because they purchased a product over here. So you want to give Facebook as much information as humanly possible so that way they can automatically optimize your campaigns and give you better results. So events and conversions are very important to set up. And again, we'll get into some of this when we talk about the event setup tool. And actually now let's head over to the Facebook Ads Manager and get into this stuff. So here we are in the Ads Manager, and it should look something like this. If you don't see that, click on the little menu option. You should see Ads Manager right here. So go ahead and click there. And actually we need to go to the Event Manager. So back to the menu here, sorry about that, and go to Events Manager. And now over here in the left-hand side, we should see the pixel that we set up. So if you watch my previous video where we talked about the Facebook Business Manager and we set up a pixel in there, you should see that pixel in here. If you don't see it, like I don't see it right here, we need to go ahead and change over to that account. So let's come over here, click on the correct profile, and it should refresh, and now we see that I have my pixel properly showing up here. So if you don't see it before, just come over here, click on the menu, and click here or click here. It seems to be a little finicky, so if you can't get to it, try clicking the business asset group or clicking the business itself, and eventually you should see your pixel like I see right now. So here's my Facebook ads course pixel right here, and now I want to go ahead and continue my pixel setup right here. And we can go ahead and install the code manually or use a partner integration. So the partner integration is where you go ahead if you have Squarespace or WordPress or Shopify or others. And so I recommend, again, going through the partner platform in order to set up your pixel if you're using a friendly piece of software. Conversely, you could go ahead and use the event setup tool, which is what we're going to do here with manually installing the pixel code to our website. So install code manually, and then we're going to copy the base code here. So I hit copy paste code, and then it tells us to paste the base code to the website, paste the pixel code into the bottom header section of your website. So depending on your platform, I'm about to use ClickFunnels here, but same concept applies if you're using other platforms. I just happen to have ClickFunnels, and it's pretty easy for me to use, but the same rules will apply whether you're using ClickFunnels or some other manual method. The same concept applies. Where you're gonna paste your pixel code and how the event setup tool works. So I'm just gonna come into my ClickFunnels account real quick, and I'm already inside of a funnel, and I'm in the funnel level settings, and I'm gonna go paste it in the head tracking code area. And again, if you have ClickFunnels, then hopefully this is helpful. If not, just know you paste the code just like that right in the head area of your website. So that's what you want to paste it into. Again, if you have questions, feel free to ask them. I'll try and help you out. And I went ahead and saved and updated. So now my pixel code is installed on my website here. So that is cool. Let me go ahead and pop open my website real quick. And so there we go. And that should have triggered my Facebook pixel. I'm using the Facebook Pixel Helper tool, which is a Chrome extension, and I'll include a link to it down in the description below. I recommend grabbing it. It'll help you track if the pixel's firing and everything. And we see I have Facebook Ads Course Pixel on this website. It fired the page view event, and I can click in here and see some data about it, and microdata automatically detected, and so on. So shows you that it's working, right? That's what the Facebook Pixel Helper tool does. Recommend go grab it, and then you can double check if things are working. All right, so we copied it, pasted it. Let's go ahead and continue now. And then they ask us about automatic matching. So automatic matching basically gives you better tracking of your customers when they're engaging on your website. Like it's watching their email addresses in addition to what it's tracking with the pixel, and so it can track stuff better. Now, one thing to note about that is you do have to have some privacy policy information about it. So depending on where you live and all that stuff, you might need to do some different stuff with your privacy policy. So just be cautious. If you turn this on, it helps with your tracking and optimizations and all that stuff. So it's recommended, but also be mindful of the laws and everything. So just be mindful. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on, and it asks us to verify what customer information I want to send. So whatever I'm tracking on my website, I'll go ahead and track with the advanced matching features. And I'm going to go ahead and hit continue now. And now it tells us to add events using the event setup tool. So okay, open event setup tool, and it tells us to plug in our website. So let me go ahead and grab the link to my website here and come back over here and throw it in. And we see that I'm running into an error here. We haven't received any events from my Facebook Pixel. So I have installed it, and we checked it with the Facebook Pixel Helper that it is working. But what I want to go ahead and do, I'll just go ahead and copy that page. I'll open an incognito window, and I'll go to it again, incognito, try and fire off that pixel again. I might open up a different browser. Maybe I'll open the Brave browser real quick. And I'll go to my website through the Brave browser, trying to trigger off that pixel again. Just trying to get that pixel to fire so Facebook knows that it's working. Let me go ahead and copy this and hit cancel real quick. And we'll go ahead and refresh this. So it's good I'm having some of these errors right here. So if you run into like sticking points, you can see how to fix it. So here we are on the Facebook Pixel. And I want to come on down here to open event setup tool. And now I'll throw in my website again. And now open website, and hopefully it starts working now, and boom. So you should see the event setup tool once you've fired off your pixel a couple times. And again, I opened a couple different tabs, different browsers, and tried to get my pixel to fire. So this is the event setup tool, and it's pretty intuitive. It doesn't require much explanation, so that is good. So basically there's a couple options here. So there's events on this page, so it show you the events you've already set up on this page, and then there's all events, so all events you've ever set up for your pixel. So you could use events you've already set up if you've already set up events. So that could save you a little bit of time. But then there's a couple other options, so we can track events based off of a button click, or we can track events based off of the URL somebody is on. So I'm going to show you both of these methods real quick, so that way you know how they work and all that type of stuff. So let's say this is a lead gen page, and let's say I just want to track this submit info button right here to track leads. So I'm going to go with track new button, and then it says click on a highlighted button to set up your event. So we see, I don't know if you can see, there's a light blue box around this button. It kind of blends in with my other blue background. And if I come down here, there's another button with a little blue box, and it's showing that these two things are buttons. So I'll go ahead and click that option right here, or that button, and then select the event type you'd like to track. So I'm going to say that when somebody clicks this button right here, I'm going to consider that a lead. So I'll select the lead event, but you see that there's multiple other events you could go ahead and choose from. So of course, choose what is most relevant, lead in this case for me. We could go ahead and include a value and a currency. So if these leads are worth something to me and I want to track that dollar amount, I could go ahead and include a dollar value, or I could choose not to include a dollar value. I'm going to go ahead and choose not to include a dollar value because it's just a lead. But if you know what a lead is worth, you could go ahead and choose a dollar value. And my currency is USD, but it doesn't really matter because I'm not choosing a value here. I'll just go ahead and hit confirm now. And so now when somebody clicks on this button here, it's going to track that person as a lead. And so that's really it for this page. I'm going to go ahead and do finish setup now. And it gives me a summary of the events that I'm adding, and that looks good to me. So I'll go ahead and hit finish. And was the event setup tool helpful? Yeah, it was. Don't ask me again. Submit. Okay. Okay. All right, cool. So I have my first event on my funnel or my pixel. Let me go ahead and grab my success page URL now, and we'll set up an event if somebody lands on my success page as well. So let me grab that URL, come back to my pixel, and I want to come down here to add events, and I want to do from the pixel right here. And I want to go ahead and open the event setup tool again, throw in my website URL, open my website, and we see the event setup tool pop back up over here. And this time I want to go ahead and track a URL. So I'll do track a URL. And so now I'll go ahead and select an event. I'm going to do the lead event again. Now, in this particular case, I'd be double counting leads. I'd be double counting them when they click the submit button. And also I'm counting them again when they land on this page. So you wouldn't want to set up what I'm setting up now because you double count your leads and that would throw off your stats. Normally you want to track your lead when they land on a page. A button click you probably wouldn't track as a lead because if they give you a bad email address or accidentally click the button but didn't submit the form or something like that, like, you don't want to track those as leads. You want to track actual page views as leads. But I just wanted to show you how the event setup tool tracked button clicks. So that was the point of that. But in reality, you probably wouldn't set up a lead event on a button click. You'd set it up on a page landing, just like I'm doing here. So you can do page equals or page contains. I like doing page contains just in case somebody somehow lands on it without the HTTPS or something funky like that. So I'd typically just, select whatever unique part of the URL I want to keep track of. So in this case, it's opt-in 257 blah, blah, blah. So that's what I want to go ahead and look for, and that would trigger off a lead event. Again, I can choose a value or don't include a value. Not going to right now. Go ahead and hit confirm. And then that's all I want to do in this page is track when people land on it. I can look at all my events now. So I got a lead event when somebody submits info or when somebody lands on this page. Let me go ahead and finish setup. And that looks good. I'll hit finish now and don't ask me again and skip. And now I'm going to go ahead and refresh my Facebook pixel area here. And we see that I have a couple events forming up down here. I got the page view event and lead events. So it looks like my pixel is working now and starting to fire off different events. Just to be sure, the last thing we probably want to go ahead and do is run the test events option. So let's come up to test events. And now we go ahead and test different browser events. So let's go to the front page of my funnel. I'll go ahead and copy it to my clipboard here and go to my page, open my website. And now I want to come back over to Facebook. And we see that I'm in the test event mode and we see page view just processed. Okay, so cool. If we look at the Facebook pixel helper, we also see that there's a page view event. So that matches up. So the thing happened that we thought would happen. So that's cool. Let's go ahead and fill out this form just like we hope our leads do. So test lead. And let me go ahead and throw in a different date here, 05 December 2020. And I'll go ahead and throw in a phone number and submit info. And we'll come back over here to Facebook. And we see that a lead was processed right here. And that's because I clicked the submit button. and then another page view event happened, and that's because I landed on this page, which triggered off a lead or a page view event. See, page view event right here was fired off on this page. And then you see lead happened again, because again, that lead event happened when I landed on the page. And if we click in here, we see the reasoning for the event. So URL blah 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 was visited. Conversely over here, the trigger clicked a button with text submit info. So we can see the different triggers for our events, and you see that I'm duplicating events here. So like I was saying, I did it incorrectly by triggering a lead event on the button click. You wouldn't want to do that because I'm double counting like you see here. So that's something to pay attention to. Make sure it's firing like you think it should. And just to make things right, I'm going to go ahead and delete that one button click lead event. So I'm going to come back to overview here, and I'm going to go to add events, and from the pixel, and I want to open the event setup tool, and I want to go to my home page again, my opt-in squeeze page, and I want to go ahead and delete that event. So I'll show you how to delete the event. So come in here, open my website, and we see that I have that event on this page. Now I'm going to go ahead and delete it, and yep, I'm sure I want to delete it. And maybe I'll add a different event here. So let's go ahead and add a track URL event, and we'll do a view content event here instead. Let's do view content. If they land on this page that contains, we'll just go with this information here, and no value here, confirm, and we'll finish setup now, and finish. And I said don't show me this again, skip. And so now I've removed that lead event on a button click, and now it'll do a view content event when somebody lands on that page, but I won't be double counting lead events. So hopefully that makes some sense, and we tested it with the test events over here. We can go ahead and clear that activity as well, so that way we can run other tests now. So if we set up other events and we want to make sure they're firing properly, well, we'd come back in here, go to the pages where we set up the events, and open the website and test everything out to make sure it's working like we think it should. And alrighty, so I hope you enjoyed the training. Now I have a quick special offer for you. So if you want a digital copy as well as an audio copy of my book here, as well as 20 pre-written emails to make your email copywriting a piece of cake, and I also have a 7-figure funnel. It's the first funnel that I built that generated over 7 figures of revenue for a small business, and the funnel includes a course on how to set it up and also how to actually sell that funnel to small businesses. So if you're interested in starting a digital marketing agency, that course and that funnel are an ideal option for you. And there's a bunch of other benefits and stuff, bonuses and stuff. Anyway, link in the description down below, or there's going to be a little button probably up here in the video if you're interested in checking it out. Yeah, just check it out if you're interested. And other than that, I hope you have a great rest of the day. Hey, it's Nathan Williams with Crazy Marketing. In this video, we talk all about Facebook ad audiences. So these are custom audiences, lookalike audiences, and saved audiences. Let's get into it. All right, so first things first, we want to go to our menu here, and we want to go to audiences. So you should see an audiences option here. If not, scroll on down here, and you should see audiences under the advertise area, right? So both two ways to get to audiences. Now, audiences, of course, are very important because these are the people you'll be targeting with your ads. So you want to have good audiences because they help make sure your ads do a good job, right? So there's 3 or 4 different types of audiences you can go ahead and create here in the Audience Manager. We have custom audiences, and I kind of talked about this in my other video where we talked about the pixel and retargeting. Custom audiences is another word for retargeting audiences, and they're created by people that engage with your business somehow. So it could be because they visited your website, or maybe they engaged with your Facebook page, or they watched a video that you've posted on Facebook, or maybe they've joined your email list and you upload your email list into Facebook, and you can create a custom audience that way. So we'll go through several different examples here, just giving you a bird's eye view. So custom audiences are people that have engaged with your business. Key concept there. Lookalike audiences are audiences created from custom audiences, and they look like people in those custom audiences. So you might have a custom audience of buyers. Let's say you have a list of buyers that you upload into Facebook, and you have, 10,000 people that have purchased something from you. So you have this big 10,000 person list of buyers. So you want people that look like buyers, your buyers, right? So you come in here and you'd say, hey, Facebook, I want you to create a lookalike audience of my buyers. So Facebook will go out there and find a certain percentage of the population that looks like your buyer's custom audience. And so then you'll have a list of people that look like buyers, and hopefully you can advertise to them, and those audiences will do very well because they look like people that buy from you. So that's the idea there, is to use those lookalike audiences to kind of scale and grow your advertising efforts, because you're using audiences that you know already work. Buyers audiences, leads audiences, types of audiences like that. You create lookalike audiences of, so that way you can advertise to people that look like people that do stuff you want to have done, right? Hopefully that made some sense. Then there's saved audiences, and really I don't use this like at all, because you can create audiences when you're setting up your campaigns and your ad sets. In another video I'll show you how we create the campaigns and ad sets and select audiences there. So I typically would recommend setting up your audiences as you set up your campaigns and ad sets. I would not really recommend doing saved audiences, because they're kind of, once you build a saved audience, like that's it. Like it's kind of like tight. But what it is it lets you like pick and choose or create your own audience, basically. So you can pick like ages, genders, interests, behaviors, demographics, all that type of stuff. But since you're building it here, it kind of like, it's like its own little thing. Like we'll do some examples, but if you're gonna create your own audience, I recommend doing it when you're creating your campaign and ad set. You create it at the ad set level. So I'd create it there, and I'll have another video on doing that. So I don't really recommend doing saved audiences, because they're limited, and you can do a lot more when you build an audience, when you create your campaign and your ad set. And you can even do like, and you're still creating your own audience. You're creating the demographics, the behaviors, the interests, all that type of stuff. So I'd say stay away from saved audiences. I probably won't even address it in this video other than what I'm talking about here, because when we do the campaigns and ad sets, you'll see how to create audiences, and it's the same concept as saved audiences, except it's more powerful. So why not do the more powerful option, in my opinion? So I say stay away from saved audiences. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the training. Real quick, I have a special offer that I want to present to you, where you can get a digital copy of my book as well as an audio copy. Plus, I'm giving away 20 pre-written emails that make your email writing a piece of cake. And finally, I have a 7-figure funnel. It's the first funnel that I built that generated over 7 figures for a small business, and it includes training on how to actually set up the funnel. If you're interested in that, plus several other bonuses, link in the description down below, or there'll be a link in the little box up above here. So if you're interested, check it out. Back to the training. Special ad audience. So if you have an audience or a special category, like you're trying to target home buyers or different occupations or something like that, like you have to go qualify your business with Facebook and go through their approval process, and then you can run ads to special ad audiences. So if you have some unique niche type of business that for some reason you can't reach your audience some other way, you might need to go through the special ad audience, and usually that has to do with like homes or occupations and things like that. So we won't go into that here, because that's very specific and niche, and I've only ever done it once with a business, and it really wasn't worth it. But maybe I did it wrong or something else. Anyway, custom audiences and lookalike audiences are where it's at, and then of course saved audiences is good, but we do it when we create the ad sets. So we'll discuss that then. So anyway, custom audiences. So it's a bunch of different ways to create a custom audience. So there's the website way. So this is if you have a pixel on your website, and if you don't have a pixel on your website, you need it. Go watch my pixel video on how to do that. Alternatively, you could go ahead and upload a list of customers or leads even. So you could upload an email list into Facebook, and Facebook will connect that lead contact information or that buyer contact information with the users on Facebook and create a custom audience of all those people. App activity. So if you have an app, you could go ahead and create an audience of people that are engaging with your app, clicking on certain features and doing certain things within that app. Offline activity. So if you have an offline business, but you're capturing people's email addresses or names or contact information when they check out, you can connect your point of sale system with Facebook and automatically like push that contact information into Facebook and create audiences of people that go to your physical location. So that could be very cool if you have a physical location and you want to advertise to those people that came into your business. You can do that automatically depending on your platform, or you can manually go and upload the list. And then of course there's Facebook sources. So people that watch a video of yours on Facebook, whether it's an ad or maybe you posted it to your page or something to that effect. People that have engaged with your Instagram account, lead forms, events, instant experience, Facebook page, shopping, on Facebook listings, and so on. So you see there's a bunch of different options. We're going to go through a few of them here so you kind of see how it works. They're pretty self-explanatory. Once you know how one of them works, like the others make sense. So you'll see. We'll do it right now, in fact. So let's go with website, and it loads up a menu here. So create a website, custom audience, and so now we add people to our audience, and we can choose all these different options to make custom audiences of the people that we want to put in our audience, right? So include people who meet any of the following criteria or all of the following criteria. So select what's relevant. Make sure you select the correct Facebook pixel. So whatever pixel you set up for your particular account or the one you want to use for this particular custom audience, go ahead and make sure you select the right one here. Then we have a bunch of different options. So there's all website visitors. So this will be everybody that hit your pixel would go on this particular audience, and you can select how many days in the past 30 days, or we can go in here and find other options. So people that visited specific web pages. So if you want people that have visited your success page, for example, after somebody opts in, you could go ahead and create an audience here. So I'm going to do that for this particular case. So people who visited specific web pages in the last 30 days, I'm going to bump it up to 180 days. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to grab the URL of my success page, and so I'll just grab this little bit right here, come in here, so URL contains, and throw that in there. So there's, if the URL contains this right here, they're going to be counted as a lead. I could have multiple success pages in here, or multiple links in here. So if I have multiple pages that I want to track as leads, I could throw them in here and have multiple. So success. So if the page contains success in it, I'd want to have or add them to that audience as well. So you can do a bunch of different URLs in here. You can do and also, so you can get very advanced and dynamic with creating these audiences. Now I recommend don't get too crazy with these audiences because you'll probably make them too small and you won't be able to take advantage of Facebook's algorithm and everything if your audiences are too small. So my recommendation would be don't get too narrow or crazy with creating these custom audiences. Keep it kind of broad, put all your leads, in one audience, put all your buyers in another audience, unless you have a specific reason to create, product specific audiences or lead magnet specific audiences or something like that. I just see people get too tied up and getting very, detailed and thinking they have to be all down in the weeds or whatever, and their audiences are just too small and like their advertisements don't work. So unless you have a massive business with a lot of traffic, you don't need that small of an audience. Just speaking from experience. And if you're watching this video, my guess is that you're just starting out, you probably don't have a massive business, or you probably wouldn't be watching this video right now because you'd have advanced marketing already employed. So anyway, again, that's my recommendation. Don't get too crazy with all these different options and so on. But if you wanted to, you could further refine by frequency or device, include more people, exclude people, and so on. So pretty self-explanatory stuff. If you want to, include people or exclude people, you just follow the prompts here and go through the process. Again, pretty simple, straightforward. But again, I recommend trying not to do that because you'll get too small. So I'll just call this like leads, and then I say how long it's been. So leads, 180 days, create audience. And so just like that, I have my first custom audience of leads in the last 100 days. Let me go ahead and create another custom audience of people that have visited my website. So I'm going to do people who visited specific web pages in the past. I'll do 7 days. And I'll say Crazy Eye Marketing. So if the web page contains Crazy Eye Marketing, or better yet, let me do crazyeyemarketing.com. So if the URL says crazyeyemarketing.com, they'll be added to this particular audience in the last 7 days. So I'll just do visitors 7 days and create audience. So just like that, I've created 2 custom audiences of individuals, visitors in the last 7 days or leads in the last 180 days. And you can create custom audiences for all types of engagement on your page. All right, so let's go ahead and create another type of custom audience. customer list, I'll click into here real quick. So basically you'll upload a CSV or text file that contains information used to build your audience. So email, phone number, mobile advertiser ID, probably not going to have that, first name, last name, address information, and so on. So you can upload a list of customers in order to build a custom audience. So this can be very handy, especially if you already have an email list or something like that and you're just getting started on Facebook. You can go ahead and upload your email list, and you have a custom audience right away, either for retargeting, or you can create that lookalike audience and start advertising and getting more leads and all that type of stuff. So this is a very powerful feature, especially if you already have a list of some sort. I recommend checking it out. Not going to worry about these other options here. We'll come on to video. Video is pretty cool, especially if you create video content for your ads, or if you post videos on your Facebook page. You can go ahead and create custom audiences of people that watch your videos. So we can choose how they engage with it. So people who viewed 3 seconds of your video, 10 seconds of your video, 15 seconds, 25%, 50%, 75%, 95%. Obviously, like the longer somebody watches a video, probably the more qualified and more interested they are. So probably the better quality of audience if they watch a lot of your videos. But of course, that'll make your audiences smaller. So depending how many people are watching your videos, you might need to play with the length of time. Personally, I typically go with the 15 seconds of your video, the through play. I feel like if somebody watched 15 seconds of me, then they will hopefully remember me, the next day or something like that. They'll be like, oh yeah, it's that guy again, or whatever. So I typically choose 15 seconds to start. So you say you want people that watch 15 seconds of your video, and then you can go ahead and choose videos. So you go ahead and, let me see, I'll find a video in my ad account somewhere here. So let's say I'll just click all these videos here. So if they watch 15 seconds of any of these videos, hit confirm. And in the past however many days, I'll just say past 30 days, viewed 15 plus seconds of video, 30 days. And I could go ahead and create an audience of people now that have viewed one of those 4 videos in the last 30 days, and I'll go ahead and hit done now. So now you see I got several custom audiences. Of course, if I want to edit one of them, I can click into it and it'll pop up a summary, usage, history, and so on. I can do an edit and be like, oh, I created some more videos that I want to go ahead and add to this audience. So I'll come in here, select those videos, hit confirm, and update audience. And so now I have additional videos that I'm creating a custom audience off of. Let me come back in here to create audience now and custom audience. For the last example, I'm just going to go with Facebook page because you probably have a Facebook page and this might be relevant, but same concept would apply with your Instagram account or any of these other types of sources. It's self-explanatory, as hopefully you're seeing right here, but we'll go, oops, I want to do Facebook page. So include anybody that has done the following criteria. And what do I have? Add course, my Facebook ads course page, anyone who engaged with your page in the past 365 days, or anyone who visited your page, or engaged with any post or ad, clicked on any call to action button, sent a message, saved your page or post. So a lot of different options in here. So people that visited my page in the last 30 days, FB page visitors, how you spell, 30 days, and create audience. And I'll go ahead and hit done now. So there we go. That's how you can go ahead and create custom audiences. Again, pretty self-explanatory, but a lot of the time you need to think through how your audiences are coming to you, visiting you, and so on. So you'd probably want one for people visiting your website, people engaging with your Facebook page, people opting in for things, so leads, people buying your products or your services. So you'll want those types of audiences as your custom audiences. And remember, you can retarget custom audiences. So you could be like, you're going to retarget people that have visited your website but did not opt in. So that could be like a retargeting campaign, or visited your website and opted in but did not buy. So that could be another type of retargeting campaign, or people that visited your website but didn't buy, or people that opted in but didn't buy, or people that bought and you want them to buy again. So as you create these audiences, you could see how you can, retarget them and show them different ads depending on previous actions. And as we set up campaigns together and follow on videos and do retargeting, you'll see kind of how all that flows together. But just start thinking, but I just wanted to point out this is how those custom audiences work. So you can create audiences of people that have engaged with your business, and then you can retarget them, i.e. show them more ads after they've already done certain things with your business. Hopefully that's making some sense. No, I'm going a little fast, but hopefully you've heard retargeting and you're hopefully picking up what I'm putting down. All right, so let's get into lookalike audiences now. And remember, a lookalike audience is simply an audience of people that look like one of your custom audiences. So you could come up here and go to lookalike audiences to create a lookalike audience. But when you do that, they give you like a drop down here, and it can be kind of hard to find like the audience that you're looking for, at least in my experience. So what I recommend doing is just going to the audience that you want to create a lookalike audience from and just starting from there. So let's say I want to create a lookalike audience of my leads in the last 180 days. I'll go ahead and click onto here real quick, and then you'll see a new menu pop out, and we have actions and we have create lookalike. So I'll hit create lookalike, and then it preloads that audience in there so that way you can easily find it. Now we go ahead and select the audience location. So what region or country we want this lookalike audience to be based from. So I can be like United States and select that option. I could throw multiple countries in here as well if I wanted to do something like that. So if I wanted United States and United Kingdom, I could go ahead and do that. But I'd recommend doing one country or region per lookalike audience. And when you create your ad set, you could target multiple lookalike audiences at that level. So, and then we go ahead and select the number of lookalike audiences. So you could do 1, or you could do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1 lookalike audience. So this would just be one audience that looks like my leads audience. And you could pick the top, 1% of people in the United States that look like my leads. So that's what I have set up here, which would be about 2.4 million people that look most like my leads. So that's pretty powerful type of audience. Imagine that being a buyer's list or something like that. Like that's where the money is made, and these look like audiences that are built off of your buyers. So that's where you want to get to eventually. But leads is, the first step usually is visit a page. Second steps become a lead. Third steps buy something, right? That's kind of like a flow people go through. So of course, the closer down to buying, you can create that custom audience and lookalike audience, like the better qualified and the better quality of audience that's going to be. But so we got leads here. I could do the top 1%, top 2%, 3%, 4%, and so on. And as you can see, the audience gets larger and larger. Depending on your budget and everything, you could select different sizes. But again, if you're here watching this video now, you probably want to start with the top 1%. Start with the top 1%, and if you burn out that audience of 2.4 million people, then go ahead and scale up. But if you're just getting started and stuff, 1% is going to last you a while. So I'd stick with 1%. But I did want to show you can create larger ones. Also, you can create multiple audiences. So let's say 3 lookalike audiences. And by doing this, you can create like gaps. So you could do like the top 1% of people that look like my leads, the top 1 to 2% of people that look like my leads, the top 2 to 3% of people that look like my leads. And you could, do a gap as well. So 2 to 4% of people that look like my leads. So if you're starting to scale out, this is a great way to scale. You could target the top 1%, the top 1 to 2%, and then you have like a big audience of the top 2 to 4%. And then you're capturing basically everybody, in that was most like to buy your or opt in for your lead magnet and so on. So I'm going to just do 1 top 1%, create audience, and wait for it to load. And just like that, I'm creating a lookalike audience of leads in the last 180 days. Same concept would be if I wanted to create a lookalike audience of people that watch my video. So just tick into this box here, go over to actions and do create lookalike, and just go through the steps again to create another lookalike. And so that's how you create lookalikes from custom audiences. Pretty self-explanatory and simple to do. The main thing is getting those good custom audiences. You need over 100 people in a custom audience in order to create a lookalike. And of course, the more people inside of a custom audience, the better Facebook can identify, key attributes, key demographics, behaviors, interests, all that stuff. The more people you have, the more data you can give Facebook, the better it can do of creating lookalike audiences. So personally, I would not recommend creating a lookalike audience unless you have at least 500 people in a custom audience. There's just not enough data. Yeah, Facebook will build one if you have, 100 people in your custom audience, but it's not going to perform that well. The bigger your custom audience, the better Facebook can do when it creates a lookalike audience. So just keep that in mind when you're doing these lookalike audiences. You do need a pretty big base custom audience before you create a lookalike audience. And so that's it for these audiences. Again, we're not going to talk about saved audiences now. In another video, when we set up a campaign, I'll talk about creating audiences as we set up our ad set. It's more powerful when you do it that way. The same concept would apply with the saved audiences. So if you did build a saved audience, it builds it the same way, but it's just so much more powerful when you're doing it and you're building the campaign. So I don't see any point wasting time here. And the special ad audiences are only for a few specific businesses, and I've only used it once. And I've done healthcare, I've done housing, I've done all that stuff without special ad interest. So you don't need it, or at least most people don't need it in my experience. So I'm not going to waste a lot of time here. I think we've covered enough on these audiences, and hopefully you understand the concept. Custom audiences are used for retargeting and creating lookalike audiences, and you want to have a good slew, if that's a word, a good group of custom audiences. You want visitors, you want leads, you want buyers, you want people that add to cart, people that watch your videos, people that engage with you on Facebook, those types of audiences, because you want to retarget them and you want to create lookalike audiences from them. Alrighty, so I hope you enjoyed the training. Now I have a quick special offer for you. So if you want a digital copy as well as an audio copy of my book here, as well as 20 pre-written emails to make your email copywriting a piece of cake, and I also have a 7-figure funnel. It's the first funnel that I built that generated over 7 figures of revenue for a small business, and the funnel includes a course on how to set it up and also how to actually sell that funnel to small businesses. So if you're interested in starting a digital marketing agency, that course and that funnel are an ideal option for you. And there's a bunch of other benefits and stuff, bonuses and stuff. Anyway, link in the description down below, or there's going to be a little button probably up here in the video if you're interested in checking it out. Yeah, just check it out if you're interested. And other than that, I hope you have a great rest of the day. Hey, what's up? It's Nathan here with Crazy Marketing, and in this video we talk all about how to set up a Facebook ad campaign. Alright, so real quick, I just want to point something out here. So this is going to be like an advertising campaign for a micro sales funnel. If you haven't watched my video on macro versus micro sales funnels, please go do that first before watching this so you can kind of grasp like where we're going here. But basically, we're just going to do like a simple lead campaign. We're going to be driving leads from cold audience leads into our business here, and then of course we'll go ahead and retarget them and show them different things, and we'll do a bucket retargeting strategy and all sorts of stuff in follow-on videos. So that's to come, but for right now we're just doing a simple micro sales funnel advertising campaign. Okay, but I just want you to know that there's this whole system out here that you need to pay attention to and keep in the back of your mind. So please go watch that video on macro versus micro sales funnels first, so that we kind of understand the big picture. Because if you don't understand the big picture, then the small picture is not gonna do you much good. So anyway, we're over here creating a simple lead funnel for cold audiences, bringing them into our business macro funnel. Okay, so let's come back over to Facebook Ads Manager, and you want to go to the Ads Manager. So go to the menu and Ads Manager. Hopefully you're here already, or you can go to Ads Manager down here, and you should see something that looks like this. You might have ads or campaigns already, or maybe you have a blank screen just like I do here. So either way, what we want to do is come to Create Now, and it's going to load up our or it's going to give us some options here to create a campaign. So we want to go ahead and choose an objective. So a bunch of objectives here, and they've actually shortened the list, so they're making it simpler for people. So that's good, because there used to be like 20 different options and it was very overwhelming, but they're making it easier. So they have 3 main categories here: awareness, consideration, and conversion. So depending on what goal you're after, you'd go to those categories and then select, what's relevant. And my suggestion here is you want to tell Facebook exactly what you want. Don't try and game the system by selecting brand awareness when you really want people to buy something. Like if you want people to buy something, you'd want to select conversions. You don't want to select brand awareness. Or if you want people to buy something, you don't select traffic or something like that. Don't try and game the Facebook algorithm, the Facebook system. The goal, the secret here is tell Facebook exactly what you want, give it as much data as possible, and let its algorithm do the work for you. Okay, that's the goal. Work with Facebook's algorithm, not against it. So tell Facebook exactly what you want, give it the data. Facebook wants you to succeed. Okay, they're not trying, like, if people did not make money advertising through Facebook, people would not spend money advertising on Facebook, and Facebook would be out of business, right? So Facebook wants you to succeed, and the best way it can help you succeed is you tell it what you want. So that's my advice. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the training. Real quick, I have a special offer that I want to present to you where you can get a digital copy of my book as well as an audio copy. Plus, I'm giving away 20 pre-written emails that make your email writing a piece of cake. And finally, I have a 7-figure funnel. It's the first funnel that I built that generated over 7 figures for a small business, and it includes training on how to actually set up the funnel. If you're interested in that, plus several other bonuses, link in the description down below, or there'll be a link in the little box up above here. So if you're interested, check it out. Back to the training. All right, so anyway, several different options here, awareness, and it gives you a little, if you hover over the I here, it tells you a definition. So show ads to people who are most likely to remember them versus reach. Traffic is send people to a website or an app or a Facebook event or so on. And then, of course, there's conversions over here. Now, personally, I only use like 3 different types. Reach, I might use for retargeting. So reach is good for smaller audiences, small retargeting audiences. Maybe you got a couple thousand people in an audience and you want to be able to reach those couple thousand people. Reach is good for smaller retargeting audiences in my experience. I use traffic sometimes if I want to drive people to my website. Maybe I have a blog post that I want people to see or something like that. So I might choose the traffic objective for that. I don't really use any of these other consideration campaign objectives. Engagement, for example, or people that engage with your ad, like leave comments or likes or something like that. So if you're running that type of campaign, I guess that makes some sense, but probably as a small business, you're going after, lead generations, conversions, people going to your website, stuff like that. And it's probably not, advantageous to spend money on engagement as a small business, but if you want people to engage with your ad, engagements there. App installs if you have an app. Video views can be okay. They tend to be, cheap video views, but they tend not to be the best audiences for like retargeting and stuff. So I tend to stay away from video views. And so if I have an ad that has a video in it, I would go ahead and have some sort of like traffic or a conversion type objective that I'm actually going after. So there might be a video ad, but there's a link in the description or a button for them to click on to go look at something or buy something. So I optimize for conversions or traffic or even reach and when I'm doing video instead of video views, because they tend not to be the best audiences in my experience, the video view audiences. You get cheap video views, that's true, but what's a cheap video view if the person doesn't buy something at the end of the day? We're here to, make money. So I stay away from video views because I haven't had good experience with it. Lead generation's fine if you have lead forms. You'll use a lead generation campaign. Messages, if you're doing Facebook Messenger campaigns, then you select this option here. So again, tell Facebook what you want. Then we got conversion. So this is where I spend, 80% of the time is focused on conversions, whether it's just a conversion where somebody views a page, so view content conversion event. I still use conversions or leads or purchases and so on. Being a small business owner, conversions are where it's at. I want my dollars to make me more dollars. And, going after engagements and stuff just doesn't give you money at the end of the day. So typically 80% of my time is spent on conversions, and probably similar with you. Catalog sales, if you have connected your catalog and want to do that. There's a lot of cool retargeting and stuff. So I recommend, if you do have like a Shopify store, looking into catalog sale type conversion ads. Like, it can be very beneficial. And then store traffic. So if you have a physical location and you want to drive traffic to that store, there you go. And you use offline conversion event tracking for this. So it's a little advanced, but there you go. We're going to go with conversions though. And we come down here, we can go ahead and name our campaign and set it all up here. So I'm going to go ahead and say lead gen generation. That sounds good. And basically, Facebook's broken down to 3 levels. So you get the campaign level. Inside of campaigns, you have ad sets. And then inside of ad sets, you have ads. So 3 different levels. Campaign level is where you set your campaign objective and budget optimization. Ad set level determines your audience, your placement, schedule, and spending. And ad contains all your ads. So you'll see that as we progress through this together. We'll go ahead and create an ad set as well. Ad set 1. And we'll go ahead and create an ad as well. So we'll just say ad 1, and we'll hit continue now. Now we're going to go through the process of building the campaign together. So as you see, we're at the campaign level, and then there's ad set, and then there's ads. And of course, we can have multiple ad sets in a campaign and multiple ads in an ad set. So you have a lot of stuff going on. You probably won't have that much going on unless you have a really big budget, but we'll talk more about that as we go through the process together. Anyway, we're at the campaign level now, so if you want to change the name of your campaign, you could go ahead and do that right here. Special ad categories, we talked about this in a previous video on audiences, so only if it's relevant, so related to credit, employment, housing, social issues, elections, and politics. So if you need to apply for that, you'd go through that process. It doesn't impact most people, so not covering it here. Campaign details, we got auction and conversions, so that's what we set up previously. Now we want to go with show more options, and it gives us our campaign spending limit if we want to go ahead and set a limit on our campaign. I'm not going to at this point in time. There's no reason for it. And then we have A/B split testing, and I recommend staying away from it for right now. I have other videos on A/B split testing and how to do that, but it's beyond the scope of this. We're trying to get a campaign live. We'll start with the basics. Campaign budget optimization. So this can be beneficial if you have a few different ad sets you're trying to test. It'll optimize between your different ad sets and ads. But the deal with campaign budget optimization is that you need a large budget. Like if you're spending like, I don't know, but $10, $20 a day, that budget's probably not going to be large enough for campaign budget optimization. You're going to need a couple $100 a day for campaign budget optimization to really make some sense. So for the sake of this example, I'm going to leave it off, but if you have larger budgets, I recommend running campaign budget optimization because you can do some really cool stuff with that, and I'll probably have some other videos on more specifics with campaign budget optimization. We'll just go with next for now. And now we get into the ad set level, and this is where we set up a lot of the targeting and things like that. So come on down here. If you want to change the name of your ad set, you can do so. Conversion event location. So we're doing websites because we're going after leads, right? And we already set up our lead event. I have another video where we set up the pixel and everything. So if you haven't watched that, make sure you do that. Dynamic creative, not talking about that here. Offer, not talking about that here. Those are kind of advanced things. And then as we scroll down, we get into budget and schedule. So there's a couple different options with budget. We got daily budget and we have lifetime budget. So I recommend doing a daily budget with your retargeting ad sets, and lifetime budgets with like cold targeting campaigns and ad sets. So that's the rule of thumb. Daily budget is for retargeting. Lifetime budget is for your cold audiences. So that's my rule of thumb there. So daily budget, you set a budget, how much you want to spend per day. You set the start date. You can set an end date if you want to. And, it's pretty self-explanatory. How much money you want to spend a day is what you type in here, and Facebook will spend that amount of money. Daily lifetime budget, on the other hand, lets Facebook know that you're going to be spending, $350 over the next month, and Facebook can do a better job of optimizing your advertising efforts, knowing that you're going to be spending that amount of money over that amount of time. So lifetime budgets result in better optimization with the algorithm. That's why I recommend lifetime budgets with your cold audiences, because you'll probably be, spending a lot more money on your cold audiences and bringing those people in. Probably 80% of your budget's on cold audiences and only 20% is on retargeting. So you'll be spending a lot more money. Facebook will have a lot more data, a lot more optimization going on. So lifetime budget allows for better optimization, and that's why you do lifetime budget with cold audiences. And in this particular example, remember we're doing a lead campaign to cold audiences, so we'll be doing a lifetime budget. Now, just because you told Facebook that you're going to be spending $350 over the next 30 days doesn't mean you have to, okay? You can shut off your advertising campaign whenever you want. So you could put in $10,000 and shut it off in 10 minutes, and Facebook's not going to spend $10,000. So just because you say you're going to do something doesn't mean you have to actually do it, but the idea is Facebook is planning on you to do that, so they can do a better job of knowing which days work best, what times works best, all that type of stuff, to give you better results. So again, lifetime budget for cold audiences, daily budget for retargeting. Okay, general rule of thumb. Now, planning out how much you want to spend is pretty simple. Let's say you want to spend $10 a day, for example. You just do, let's say I want to spend $10 a day for 4 weeks. That's 7 times 10 is 70, times 4 is 280. So $280, and my start date will be December 5th, and we'll go through, I think December 5th is Saturday, so that'd be January 2nd here. So that's 28 days, and I said 200. And so there we go, $280 for 28 days and $10 a day on average. Also, with lifetime budget, you can run ads on a schedule. So if you have like store hours or something like that, where you want your ads only running during certain periods of time, you could go ahead and block out certain periods of time that you want your ads to run. On daily budget, there's no option for ad scheduling. So that's another difference right there between lifetime and daily, is the ability to schedule your ads. So anyway, that was a lot on budget and schedule. Main concept: cold traffic, lifetime budget, retargeting, daily budget. Just try and remember that. It'll serve you well in the long run. Now, coming on down here, we get into audiences and the development of our audience. And we can create an audience or use a saved audience. If you watch my audience video, I said we're not going to worry about saved audiences because we can create the audience right here, and there's more power when you create it, when you're setting up your ad set. So we'll be addressing that right now. But yeah, so you probably would not have a saved audience. You just create one here. Right now, we could go ahead and select a custom audience. So if you already have a custom audience, you could do that here, or a lookalike audience, you could select it here. So if I'm going after leads and I want to target my audience that looks like my leads audience, I could easily just select my lookalike audience there, and that's easy. I could go ahead and exclude as well. So I probably want to exclude people that are already leads. So I'd exclude my leads in the last 180 days audience while targeting my lookalike audience of leads. So there's no reason to target people that have already become a lead to try and get them to become a lead again, right? You're just wasting money at that point. So that's why I'm excluding my leads and I'm targeting my lookalike audience. Now, another thing real quick, if you are targeting a lookalike audience, I recommend not messing with any demographics or anything like that. Don't mess with it if you're doing a lookalike audience. Let Facebook do the optimization for you. So that's another quick rule. Lookalike audience, don't touch this stuff down here. If you're not doing a lookalike audience, so I'm not doing a lookalike audience, then you can touch stuff down here. Okay, just put that out real quick. Lookalike audience, don't touch this stuff. Otherwise, you can touch this stuff. You can still exclude if you want, if it makes sense to exclude. Like excluding leads makes sense to exclude leads because I don't need to convert leads into more leads. They're already a lead, right? So coming on down here, we got all of our audience stuff. So location. So if you want to select different locations, you could do that. You could include, you could exclude. So let's say I want to exclude Virginia for whatever reason. I could go ahead and select the United States, but also exclude Virginia and so on. Or I could do United Kingdom as well. And so just like that. Oh, I want to include United Kingdom. So include location. So including United States and United Kingdom, excluding Virginia. So pretty self-explanatory stuff right here. Ages, self-explanatory stuff, so what age range you want to go ahead and target. Gender, also self-explanatory, what gender you want to target. And we have detailed targeting, so detailed targeting expansion is on. And now we're able to add demographics, interests, and behavior. So this is where you can get really creative in who you're trying to target. So you could browse. This could be helpful to get you started on the right path. So we got demographics, so education, financial, life events, and you can come in here and you can see all sorts of categories people might fall in. So it's very expansive, a lot of different options, and you can get very creative in here. Of course, I'm not going to spend all day in here because you can click around and pick what applies to your business, but we'll keep it, I'll just pick some at random here. So I'll do schools and we'll just say Virginia Tech. So I'll select Virginia Tech right there for schools, and I can add more demographics, interests, or behaviors as well. Let me go ahead and browse real quick. We'll go in here, find an interest, and we'll just say agriculture. So right now I'm targeting people that have an education with Virginia Tech or they're interested in agriculture. And you notice I said or here. So Virginia Tech or agriculture. So that might not be the audience you're going after. You might be going after Virginia Tech and agriculture. So pay attention to how you're setting this stuff up here. So if you want a Virginia Tech and agriculture, you'd come back out of here, and now you'd come into narrow audience, and you see it must also match. And now we'd go ahead and select our interest of agriculture. So agriculture right there. So now I'm targeting people with Virginia Tech and interested in agriculture. So if you want to do the or statement, you keep them all in the same block. So maybe I'd say like University of Virginia and throw that in here. So demographics, education, schools, University of Virginia or Virginia Tech and interested in agriculture. So I just want to point that out there, the difference between or and right here. So narrow further makes ands. If you put them in the same area, it's an or, okay? So just note that. You can also exclude audiences. So maybe you want people that don't like dogs for whatever reason. So exclude people that like dogs. So there you go. So it's people that are educated in University of Virginia or Virginia Tech and must also match. We'll throw the agriculture back in here and interested in agriculture, but they're not interested in dogs or they don't have a dog as a pet. So you can get really creative in here, similar to the custom audiences and setting those up. You don't want to get too narrow, and you can get an idea of your potential reach up here. It says potential reach unavailable. So if you see this unavailable, it's probably because you did something up here with a custom audience, like I have an exclusion. So if I delete this exclusion out of here real quick, it gives me my potential reach, which is 100,000. So that's kind of small. Typically, I like going for about a 2 million person audience, but if your audience size is your audience size, well, then it's your audience size, right? Like if you're only going after people that went to Virginia Tech or University of Virginia, you know, there's only so many people that did that. There might not be 2 million people that did that. So if your audience size is your audience size. So if it sounds reasonable, then, you know, it is what it is. But if possible, I try and go for about a 2 million person audience. But again, if you can't get it that large, then that it is what it is sometimes. So don't stress out about it, but go as large as you can up to about 2 million. That's my recommendation. And again, if you can't see how the potential reach, it's because you have some sort of inclusion or exclusion with a custom audience. So remove that and you should see it. So there we go. Coming on down here. They have this detailed targeting expansion. So reach people beyond your targeting selections when it's likely to improve your performance. Turn that off. Time and time again, it's proven that this does nothing. So, or it does not improve your results like you think it should. So turn that off. If something changes and, you know, this does better, I'll let you all know. But at this point in time, this just spends your money and does not improve results, even though it sounds like it would. All right, languages, self-explanatory. If you want to select a different language, you can type it in here. Pretty simple. Show more options. So here's connection. So all people, or you can edit it and add connections. So people who like your page, friends of people who like your page, and so on. Again, you don't want to go too narrow because you might not reach anybody. So, you know, be cautious with this. You can save this audience. So if you create this audience and you want to save it as a saved audience, you could do that. But again, I don't really mess with saved audiences because they wind up locking you in and you become limited in what you can do with them. And you can just do a lot more stuff with your audiences when you create your ad set. Coming on down here, we have placements, automatic placements recommended, or manual placements. Recommendation is go with what's recommended here. It gives Facebook more opportunities to put your ads places, and also more opportunities for Facebook's algorithm to optimize your advertising efforts. So recommend all placements, but if you want to go manual placements, you could, and you can select where you want your ads to show up and so on. So again, I recommend going recommended here. Coming on down here, we're optimizing for conversions. So yep, that's true. Cost control, not going to set that up. Show more options. Conversion window is fine. All these settings are fine, the default. As you get more experience with Facebook ads, by all means, go ahead and mess with them if you want to. But at this point in time, there's no point in covering that. It's too much information, and I think I've thrown a lot at you already. All right, so now we're into the ad area, and this is pretty simple stuff right here. So ad name, what Facebook page is running the ad, so make sure you select the appropriate Facebook page. If you have an Instagram account you're running as well, you can go ahead and select that account or connect an account, or you can just use your Facebook page to run ads on Instagram. That's fine too. The downside here is that you cannot reply to comments. So if people comment on your ad on Instagram, you can't reply to it. So that's the downside of using a Facebook page for your Instagram account, is you can't reply to comments. So my recommendation would be, if you're running ads on Instagram, connect your Instagram account so that way you can reply to comments. Coming on down here, you can create an ad, use existing ad, use Creative Hub Mockup. We're going to go ahead and create an ad. But if you already have an existing post, you can go ahead and select it here. Like if you have a post on your Facebook page or you already created ad sets that have posts in them, you can do that here. And that's more advanced. We're keeping it simple as possible. Coming on down here, there's a couple different options for format. So single image or video, carousel or collection. I'm going to go with single image or video, but you can mess with the other options. Not worried about instant experiences or playable source files. I'll have other video trainings on that. Add creative, so this is where we go ahead and create the ad. So we can go ahead and add media, so add image or add video. And I'm just gonna go ahead and do add image real quick. And I have another video training on doing copy and all that type of stuff. I recommend going and watching that video. It'll help you out. I know I'm going really quick, just showing you like the technical steps here. They do have stock photos, so that could be handy, but stock photos don't usually do that well. And I'm actually just selecting a stock photo just for the sake of example. So we'll take that, throw that in there real quick. Go ahead and write some copy real quick. So copy and headline and description. And then we want to go ahead and, of course, link over to our website here. So let's go ahead and grab the link to our website. And then we have a display link, and I recommend just leaving that blank. Let Facebook put the display link in there, because if you do it wrong, Facebook won't run your ad. So this is a iffy thing to touch, so I recommend just leaving it blank so that way you don't mess it up. Call to action is just this little button here on your ad. And again, I have another video on ad copy and all that stuff, so I recommend checking that out. Branded content if you're doing something with that, which is a little bit more advanced. But coming on down here, you want to make sure that you're tracking with your Facebook pixel. So make sure you have your proper Facebook pixel here selected. And if you don't see your pixel down here, you'd want to come back up to the ad set level, because that's where you set your pixel. And you want to make sure that you have your pixel set up here and you're tracking your lead event and so on. So if you don't see the right pixel information, come back to the ad set level and you should be able to edit your pixel. I'd have to delete it out of here to change it, but that's where you would go. So I know I went fast here through this ad piece, but that's because I have another video training on it, and you really just got to kind of play around with it to get used to it. But it's pretty simple and self-explanatory as well. Like, you see a preview of your ad over here. If you want to edit the different placements, you could go ahead and make sure it looks good on Facebook stories, and you can go ahead and dive into here and manipulate it and all that type of stuff. So there's a lot of stuff to look at and do that goes beyond the scope of this. I wanted to get you set up with a campaign, an ad set, some targeting, an ad, and so on, so you can understand the big picture and these little minor details of what goes on the ad. You can figure out and learn as you go through the process of setting everything up. So once you're happy with your campaign, your ad set, and your ad, you just come on down here to publish. And I don't have a payment method set up right now, so I would have to go ahead and do that first. But assuming you have your payment method set up, you publish it, it goes live, out, runs, and so on. Alrighty, so I hope you enjoyed the training. Now I have a quick special offer for you. So if you want a digital copy as well as an audio copy of my book here, as well as 20 pre-written emails to make your email copywriting a piece of cake. And I also have a 7-figure funnel. It's the first funnel that I built that generated over 7 figures of revenue for a small business. And the funnel includes a course on how to set it up and also how to actually sell that funnel to small businesses. So if you're interested in starting a digital marketing agency, that course and that funnel are an ideal option for you. And there's a bunch of other benefits and stuff, bonuses and stuff. Anyway, link in the description down below, or there's going to be a little button probably up here in the video if you're interested in checking it out. Yeah, just check it out if you're interested. And other than that, I hope you have a great rest of the day. Hey, what's up? It's Nathan Williams with Crazy Marketing, and in this video we talk all about retargeting on the Facebook ads platform. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into it. Now this video is going to be basically two parts. The first part of this video, we're going to focus on the micro sales funnel and retargeting through the micro sales funnel. And then the second part of the video is going to be on the macro sales funnel and a retargeting strategy for a macro strategy. Now if you don't know the difference between micro and macro funnels or strategy, please go watch that video first. I have a video that explains the differences, and I go over this table here in great detail, so recommend watching that video before watching this video on retargeting. But anyway, up now we're doing the micro retargeting. And so for the sake of example, let's say we're building a micro sales funnel over here to sell a product. We'll say it's a book. A book funnel, for example, is what we're going to be doing. So we have our funnel over here, our micro sales funnel, and it looks like this down here. And let me try and zoom in real quick so we can look at it in a bigger view. So this is going to be our funnel that we built, and now we want to run ads to the funnel, and we want to retarget people that are engaging with that funnel, right? Kind of pull people through the funnel through our retargeting ads. So we're going to have our traffic source, of course, and this, of course. The traffic can be cold traffic, so we have cold audiences coming in, and we're going to set up a cold audience to pull traffic in, but also it can be people that have already engaged with your business. So this can be people that you're retargeting that have visited your website, engaged with your ad, or on your email list, all that type of stuff. So basically people that have engaged but have not opted in yet. So we're bringing people to a squeeze page where we're offering them, I don't know, a free chapter or something of our book, and hopefully they opt in which case we can they come to our welcome and pre-sell page here, where we welcome them to our business, give them an introduction about ourselves, about our products, our services, etc. And then we bring them over to our sales page here, where we try and sell our book, and then we have a whole funnel system built out on the back end here. It's not really important for this video if you have a funnel or not. The concept remains the same whether you're using funnels or individual pages or whatever. But the concept is we're bringing traffic into a page, whether it's cold or retargeted traffic, and then we're going to retarget that traffic, bringing them to another page. So it's basically two layers of traffic that we're going to be generating here. And so the concept, if you understand that concept of one layer of traffic into another layer of traffic, and then you can do another layer of traffic and another layer of traffic if you want to. You can get very sophisticated. That's the key concept. What the funnel looks like is not important. Key concept is one layer of traffic, another layer of traffic, and you could have another layer of traffic. All right, so hopefully that makes some sense. We're not going to worry about this back half of the funnel here. But what I like to do is map out my funnel, get an idea of the type of audiences that I need to retarget and construct this funnel and pull people through the funnel. So after doing some thinking, I came up with a few audiences. So I could use a cold audience, and in this particular example, I'll probably just use a lookalike audience to bring traffic into my squeeze page here. I want an ad engage audience, so people that have engaged with my ad on the traffic platform, or I can also, retarget people that have visited my websites. So maybe I'll say ad engage audience, or website visitors. We'll throw one of those in there too. So ad engage audience, website visitors audience. And then we probably need a lead audience, right? We need to keep track of people that have become leads, so we know who's a lead versus who's not a lead. So we can retarget leads and or exclude leads, as you'll see here shortly. And then we have a buyer's audience, so we need to know who actually bought the product, so that way we can stop running ads to them because they've already bought the book we're trying to sell, right? So that's how I like to set things up, is I map out my funnel, map out the audiences that I need, and figure out what audiences I need to create my micro sales funnel retargeting strategy. And then I come over and start building the audiences first. That's what I start with, is the audiences. All right, so coming in here, we're going to go to business tools, and we want to go to audiences now, and we're going to build custom audiences for our retargeting campaign. If you don't know the differences between the audiences, I have another video on that, link in the description down below. Make sure you watch that on audiences so you know how to set those up. But we'll go ahead and create audiences now. So, well, first things first, we want to do a cold audience, right? Bringing people into our website, and I already have one of those. I have a lookalike audience of leads. Sounds like a good audience, right? People that look like leads, type of thing that I want to have. So I already have that audience created, so that's good. we need an ad engaged audience. So let's go ahead and create that real quick. So we'll just do create audience and custom audience. And I'm going to go with use Facebook sources and video here. And we're just going to pretend that I created a video ad, and that's what I'm doing right here. So I'm just selecting that particular video for that ad, and I'm going very quick because I've done this in other videos. And if you need help with setting up these ads and everything, you can go ahead and watch those videos. So let's say that this is my ad, my video ad that I want to watch for people to engage with, and I just want to watch them for 7 days. People that have engaged in the last 7 days watched 15 plus seconds of book ad 7 days. So there we go, create audience, and next, and done. So I've created my ad engaged audience, so people that have watched over 15 seconds of my book ad. Now let's go ahead and do a website visitors audience as well. And I actually have that. I have a visitors in the last 7 days audience already created. So I don't need to go ahead and create another one, but just want to double check that I have that already. So visitors in the last 7 days, anybody that's visited my website in the last 7 days. So that's cool. Up next, we need a lead audience. So I want to make sure that I'm keeping track of my leads. So let's come back over here. And I do have a leads in the last 180 days audience already. And that's cool and all because I'm using that for my lookalike audience up here. But I want to create a new lead audience of people that have opted in for this particular lead magnet, right? Because I'm trying to pull people through my book funnel. So I want ads more specific to my book and stuff. So I'm going to create a new lead audience here. So custom audience, and I want to go with website activity over here. And then I want to go ahead and grab the welcome and pre-sale page URL, because if they've opted in, then they've landed on this page here. So let me go ahead and grab it. And yeah, I'm using ClickFunnels, but the concept remains the same. It's not specific to ClickFunnels or anything like that. I'm just grabbing this URL up here for my welcome and pre-sale page. And I want to come here, all website visitors, people who visited specific pages. And I'm going to go with the last 7 days. And I'm going to go ahead and throw in my URL here. And I might want to clean it up a little bit. Let's delete that out of there. And I'll probably just leave it this little tidbit here. And I explained why I do that in my video where we talk about audiences. So again, recommend checking that out. So basically anybody that's visited a specific web page in the last 7 days that contains this page path, I'm going to create an audience of those people. So we'll do leads, book, funnel, 7 days. All right, create audience. And we'll hit done right there. And now let's come back up to my diagram here. So we got my lead audience now. And now I want to go ahead and create a buyer's audience as well. So let's come in here. And I don't have any buyer's audiences currently. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new audience, a custom audience. And I'm going to go with website activity. And I'm going to choose people that visited a specific web page. And I'm going to go with my OTO1 page in this example, because the only way to land on this OTO1 page is if they've purchased the book. So let's go ahead and grab the page path to it. And I just want to grab this little snippet here of my URL or my page path. And I'll throw it in here. I want to actually do 180 days for this particular audience because I don't want to advertise to anybody that's purchased my book in the last 180 days. And I would do more days, but the maximum time is 180 days. So that's why I put 180 in here. So buyer, book, funnel, 180 days. All right, and create audience, and done. All right, so now I've created several audiences here. So I got a cold audience, ad engaged audience, website visitors, lead audience, and buyer's audience. So let's come back over here and go ahead and set up the campaign real quick. And I'm not going to go through the nitty-gritty details of setting up the campaign. I have a whole video on setting up campaigns. I'm just going to set up like the ad set because that's the important part here. Let's go ahead and create a new campaign. And I'm going to go with conversions because that's what we're going after in this particular campaign. And I'll go ahead and name it. So I'll just say book funnel. And I'll create an ad set, and I'll just call this one cold traffic. And I don't know, for the sake of example, we'll throw ad 1 in there and continue. And I'm going to scan through these campaign settings real quick, make sure everything's how I want it. And the main thing is I want to keep campaign budget optimization turned off because I want to control the budget at the ad set level in this campaign. Okay, so that's why I'm leaving it off, because I'm going to charge different amounts of money to different audiences. So for example, my cold audience here, I want to choose my conversion event, and I'm going to go after leads. And we're going to come on down here. And so my cold audience, you know, I'd want to spend as much money as possible. In my other video on optimization and everything, we'll talk about, you know, what budget to choose and how to figure that out. So look for that video on optimization. But for the sake of example, just say 50 bucks on cold traffic, and that's where the bulk of your money is. 80% of your budget should be on like cold traffic and bringing people in, and then, you know, 20% on retargeting and converting those warmed up people into buyers. So anyway, 50 bucks, and the important part is the audiences. So we're going to do lookalike audience of leads, right? That was our thought process here. So cold audience is going to be lookalike audience of our leads. So that looks good. Throw that in there, and let's go ahead and exclude some people, right? Let's go ahead and exclude people that have already purchased the book. We don't need our book buyers. And we can also go ahead and exclude people that have opted in for our book funnel in the last 7 days as well. Might as well exclude those leads because we're going to be advertising to them another way. And so that looks good. I'm going to leave everything else wide open. I'm not going to do anything with the ad right now. The main concept on this video is retargeting, and retargeting comes down to your audience selection and your custom audiences. So that's the focus here. So again, this is the cold audience, and then I'm excluding people that have already purchased the book or that are already leads. So hopefully that's all making some sense right there. I'm going to go ahead now and just copy this or duplicate this ad set, and I'll go ahead and hit duplicate again. I'm just doing that just to save a few seconds here, and come up here, and this one right now will be my first retargeting audiences, so people that have engaged, with my ad or my website. I want to send them to my squeeze page here, try and get them to become leads. So this will be my engagers audience, and I'm going to come on down here. I'm still going after website conversions, going after lead events, coming on down here, daily budget. We will shrink that thing down to, let's just say 10 bucks for right now. Come on down here, and now I want to get rid of my lookalike audience. I'm going to leave my buyers as my exclusions, but I'm going to go ahead and remove my leads. And then I want to go ahead and add some audiences in here, right? So I want to add people that have visited my website in the last 7 days. And let's see who else I want to add. People that have engaged with my ad, right? So watch 15 or more seconds of my Facebook ad or my book ad. So I've got my visitors and people that have engaged with my ad in the last 7 days, right? That's my objective here, engagers, non-opt-in. So looking at exclusions here, we want to exclude buyers because they've already purchased, and we want to go ahead and exclude leads, right? Because we don't need to re-advertise to the leads because they've already become leads, they've already opted in. So we're excluding leads, but advertising to people that have engaged with us either through our ad or have visited our website. So that's the objective there. And so that's it. Leave everything else wide open. Not going to mess with the ad. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this ad set real quick just to save a few seconds here. And this next group of people we're doing are leads, but not buyers. All right, so come in here, and this is for leads, not buyers. Okay, so that's simple, self-explanatory. And what we want to do now is we're going after purchases, right? We want people to buy our book. So let's look for our purchase event, purchase. And of course, this is assuming we've set up our pixel and our conversion events properly on our website. Another video on pixel and conversions and all that stuff. So check that out if you're not familiar with how to do that. Coming on down here, this budget would probably be even smaller because it's a smaller audience because it's only focused on leads. So we got a smaller audience here. And we're going to target people that are leads. So let's delete those options out of here. And we want to target leads of the book funnel in the last 7 days. And we want to go ahead and exclude people that have purchased our book in the last 180 days, right? No reason to advertise to them. And let me think through. Did we get everybody? So leads going into our sales page here. And yep, that makes sense. So come on down, leave everything else wide open, and there we go. So now we have 3 different ad sets, and each ad set is targeting a different group of people, right? So we have the first set of people, which are the cold traffic. So this is these people over here that we're bringing into our micro sales funnel. And then we have engagers. So this is people that have watched our ad or visited our website or something like that, and we're bringing them to our squeeze page, trying to get them to opt in. And then we have our third ad set, which are leads, not buyers. So these are people that have opted into our squeeze page and made it all the way to, well, at least the welcome and pre-sale page and possibly the sales page. So they made it over into this area, but they did not buy. So we're advertising to them for a few days, trying to get them to buy the product. And of course, your ads will speak to wherever they are in the funnel. So cold traffic would be talking about, coming over and, checking out the lead magnet. This first retargeting audience as well would be talking about the lead magnet. So you'd have a couple different lead magnet ads out there, one for cold traffic, one for engagers, warmed up traffic, and then you'd have another set of ads targeted on selling that product on your sales page. So in our case, it's a book, right? We're trying to sell that book. And that's how it works for retargeting and kind of sequencing your ads to pull people through a funnel. You can get very sophisticated with this. You could have multiple ad sets. You could have 5, 10 ad sets if it made sense to do it to pull people through a funnel. But the concept is with the inclusions and exclusions. So you just basically include the people that you want to show the ads to and exclude the people that have already performed the action that you're going after, right? That's the idea behind these micro sales funnel retargeting campaigns. Now, this next bit of the video is going to be on the macro strategy. I call it the bucket strategy. So it encompasses like your entire business. And it's actually another video that I've already shot, and I'm just putting it in this video. I posted it on YouTube already. It's very well received. People like it a lot. So it doesn't make sense for me to reshoot the video because it's already, it's vetted. It's a good video. It's already edited, good to go. And it explains the bucket strategy, which is a macro level strategy. So let's go to that video now. Hey, it's Nathan Williams with Crazy Marketing. In this video, we're going to go over a Facebook ads retargeting strategy that I call the bucket strategy. Now, this video is going to be kind of like two parts. In this first part, we're going to talk about the strategy itself, and I'll cover this little chart right here. And then the next part, we'll go into the ads manager, and I'll show you how it's actually like set up and configured so you understand the strategy and then how to actually go ahead and put it into your ads account. Now, the reason I like this strategy is because, well, first things, it works. It works very well. And of course, this depends how well your ads work. So assuming you have good ads and good offers, this strategy, it works very well. And the next thing I like about it is it's simple. Like, it's very easy to understand. It's very easy to set up. You don't have to worry about all sorts of exclusions and getting crazy with it. Like, it's pretty simple retargeting strategy that works. So that's why I like it. And let's go ahead and get into the strategy now. So, of course, you start off with your cold traffic audience, and you're bringing cold people that don't know who you are into your environment, right? And so what I typically do is I set up 3 different audiences, like a lookalike audience, a specific interest audience, and a broad interest audience. And I have another video on audiences and targeting, so if you need help with that type of stuff, look down in the description below for audiences. And what I'm doing is I'm bringing them to an amazing piece of content. Now, this content could be a video that I have on Facebook, or it could be a blog post or something where, they can just experience me and my content for free. They don't have to opt in for anything. They don't have to buy anything. It's just content, and they're like, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about, or they're like, this guy has no clue what he's talking about. I don't want anything to do with him. So either way, they come in, they see something that I think is very good, well produced, etc., and hopefully they like it, and now know who I am. Now they're no longer cold traffic. They're warmed up a little bit, right? And then that's who you're retargeting, is that warmed up traffic. So the next stage then is your bucket. So this whole blue area is what I consider my bucket. And basically what I do is, the WT stands for warm traffic, is this, and I do either like a 7-day retarget, or you could do a 10-day or 14-day retarget, whatever is relevant to you and your business. But basically you're retargeting everyone that has engaged with you. So anybody that's warmed up, so they visited your amazing content over here, or also people that have found you organically. So if they came through Google and landed on your website and you're retargeting them because they visited your website, or they've engaged with you on Facebook and you're retargeting people that have engaged with your Facebook page or something like that. So it's any sort of paid warm traffic as well as organic traffic that's found you, for free. Right? So anybody that's engaged with you in the last 7, 10, 14 days, whatever window you want to do. And basically you just have different offers for the people in this bucket. So one offer might be for a lead magnet, right? You're trying to get people onto your email list. So you might have a lead magnet offer. You might have an offer, so something for sale. So it might be a free plus shipping offer or some low price product or service that you're trying to sell. And you might have two of those, right? You might have a couple different offers that you're trying to sell and promote to people. You might have a couple different lead magnets. What I have outlined right here is just, for sake of example, but you could have maybe a couple lead magnets, a couple offers, and then you might want to have some content as well. So some other amazing content, some other blog posts, some other Facebook video that, warm fuzzies when people watch and engage with your content, right? So they don't have to opt in, they don't have to buy anything. It's just good content that they can go ahead and see. And so that's essentially the idea. You have a bucket of offers that people are seeing for 7, 10, 14 days. And of course, if they've completed whatever it is you're trying to promote to them, like if they've already opted in for a lead magnet, you'd go ahead and exclude them, right? You don't need them to opt in for more lead magnets because they're already a lead. They're already on your email address or email list. Same thing with the offers. If they've already purchased what it is you're promoting, well, you want to go ahead and exclude those individuals. Same thing with the content. If they've already read the piece of content or watched the piece of content, well, you can go ahead and exclude them as well. So that's the strategy right there. Now let's go over to the Facebook Ads Manager and I'll show you how it's set up. So here I am in my Ads Manager, and right here we see that I have a cold traffic campaign going on. And of course, this is bringing people to my amazing content that I've set up. So it's free, no opt-in, anything like that, just good content. So we'll go in here and I want to show you my ad sets set up real quick. And so let's go ahead and scroll down a little bit, and you see my budget. I'm just spending $10 a day bringing, cold people into my world, so that way I can go ahead and retarget them. Coming on down, and this is who I'm targeting. So I'm targeting a lookalike audience here, and it's a lookalike of my customer's audience. So that's who I'm targeting. I'm gonna go ahead and exclude people. I'm gonna exclude anybody that's already purchased my flagship product because I don't need, to bring them back into my world. They've already done what I wanted them to do. And then I'm gonna exclude everyone that's in my bucket, essentially, because they're already experiencing other ads. So I have an 11-day retarget window in my particular case. So instead of 7 days, I have an 11-day retarget, and then I have different offers that I'm showing to individuals for 11 days. So since they're in my window, I'm going to go ahead and exclude them from my cold audience traffic, right? Because they're no longer cold, they're warmed up. They know who I am now, they've seen some of my content, and now I'm going to show them more content with my retargeting. And just so you can see my ad and everything, I'll show you it so you get an idea of what I'm talking about over here. So this is my best performing one. I'll go ahead and pop it open real quick. And so here we go, and I'm not going to read this whole ad to you, but you could pause the video if you want to see the ad. But basically it just brings people to this landing page over here where they can go ahead and request or download free sales funnel blueprints. Like no opt-in, nothing like that, just free good content. And so that's my introductory ad right there, right? Converting cold traffic to warm traffic by giving them amazing content, which is free sales funnel blueprints. And so that's my offer right there. And then let me come back out here and go into my other campaigns. So I have a couple other campaigns for my bucket here. So I have an engagement campaign, and I also have a conversion campaign. And the reason I have two different campaigns for my bucket is because I have different campaign objectives for these different offers. So for my content, so this stuff down here, I have the engagement campaign objective, whereas for everything else, I'm optimizing for conversion. So those are my offers and lead magnets. I'm optimizing for conversions because, I want conversions, right? So I'll click in here real quick and we'll go a little bit faster. So I have two pieces of content that I'm sharing with people, and these are videos that I share with individuals. And just to look at my targeting real quick, we can check it out. So I am retargeting people that have engaged with my page in the last 7 days, or have watched 15 or more seconds of an ad in the last 7 days, or more accurately watched any video in the last 7 days. So people that have engaged with me in the last 7 days. And I'm also retargeting people that have visited any page on my website in the last 7 days. And then for my exclusions, I'm excluding people that have purchased the Vault, which is my flagship product. And I'm also excluding people that have already watched the Facebook ad mistakes video, right? There's no point in trying to get people to watch a video again when they've already watched it. So that's my audience setup here. And I'll go ahead and show you the ad real quick just so you can see what it looks like, what I mean by like providing just content to people. So let me pop it up. And so here's my ad. You see it's just one sentence and then a video ad. There's no call to action or anything like that. It's just good content for people to see that I know what I'm talking about, all that type of stuff. So simple enough. The other engagement ad or content ad that I have is the same concept. It's just instead of 5 Facebook ad mistakes, I have 5 YouTube ad mistakes. So same concept though. Now coming back out, we'll go into my conversions now. So my other offers that I have, so like my lead magnet and then offer 1, offer 2, etc. So I'll show you what I have going on in here. So I'm retargeting for free sales funnel blueprints. So this is my front end offer as well. So this is that same amazing content. And the reason I have that in here is because it's for anyone that found me organically. So, somebody went through Google, went to my website, and now they're on Facebook, and now they see this amazing content, and they're like, oh, I like amazing content. And so that's the idea there. That's why I'm retargeting for this amazing content again, is for anyone that, found me organically or some other way other than coming through my cold traffic ad. So I'm running that offer, and then I have a lead magnet offer, so for 18 free sales funnels. And I'll go ahead and show you my targeting options for it so you can understand it. And you hopefully get the idea now. So engage with the page in the last 7 days, watched any video in the last 7 days, visited any page in the last 7 days. So again, same audience that I was targeting with the content, right? So the last 7 days. And then I'm excluding people that have already become a lead or already purchased something from me. And that's because they're already on my list at this point. And there's no point in advertising a lead magnet to these people again because they're already on my email list, right? I'm also excluding people that have purchased the Vault, which is my flagship product. And if they've already purchased it, I don't need to be advertising to them again. It's just, a waste of money. I also want to point out that my budgets on all these retargeting campaigns are only $1 a day. And that's enough, especially when I'm only spending $10 a day on that front end traffic. And I do have 3 different ads running for this one, but I'll just show you one of them just so you get an idea of, what a lead magnet ad looks like. I want to make sure that you see examples of everything so that way you feel confident and comfortable running a similar campaign. And so here it is. You can go ahead and pause the video here and read it if you want to. And of course there's like a call to action, so that way it brings people over to a squeeze page. I'll show you the squeeze page real quick so you can see what that looks like. So they come here, they click on this button, and then they go ahead and opt in for the 18 free sales funnels. So that's my lead magnet that I have going on. And we'll come back out, and I have 2 offers as well. So I have the sales funnel book, which is a free plus shipping offer, and then I have a Vault offer. So this is like this stuff over here. So sales funnel book and then the Vault offer. So if I come back over here, and I imagine you can guess what my targeting looks like at this point. Again, $1 a day, low budget. And of course, I'm targeting people that have engaged with my Facebook page in the last 7 days, watched any video in the last 7 days, visited any of my website pages in the last 7 days, and I'm excluding people that have already purchased the book, and I'm excluding people that have already purchased the Vault, right? So that's my bucket, right? 7 days or 11 days in other cases. And I'm excluding those that have already taken the desired action, right? Hopefully that makes some sense. And then just for the sake of example, I'll show you one of my ads so you can see that. And so here you go. You can go ahead and pause it if you want to read it, but obviously there's a call to action and all that type of stuff on this ad because I'm bringing people over to my sales page for the free plus shipping offer. And so here's a quick look at the sales page, your typical free plus shipping offer sales page type of setup. All right, so coming back down to my last ad set I have set up, which is for the Vault. And of course, you can likely guess the targeting options here as well. So engage with page 7 days, watch any video in 7 days, visited any website page in the last 7 days. And then of course, I'm excluding anybody that has purchased the Vault. And I'll go ahead and show you my ad real quick as well, just so you can take a look at it. And so here it is right here. And of course, there's a call to action, all that type of stuff. And of course, it brings people over to my Vault sales page. So people can come over here, learn more about it, hopefully want to join, all that type of stuff. And so anyway, those are the campaigns, ad sets, and ads that I'm running right now for my current bucket strategy that I have going on. hopefully it's all making some sense to you. It's pretty simple to understand. You know, you're bringing cold traffic, bringing them to amazing content, so you're getting warm traffic, and then you're just retargeting all your warm traffic with different offers. And if they've already requested or purchase that particular offer, well, then you're going to exclude them from seeing ads for that offer, right? Like that's how simple it is. That's how easy it is. And just to show you some of the stats that I have going on, and I've only spent $127 so far, so it's still optimizing and all that type of stuff. But we'll go ahead and scroll over real quick and take a look at some of the metrics that actually matter, and feel free to pause the video and look at what's going on if you want to see even greater detail. But looking at lead information, so of course leads are important because you're getting people on your email list. I can reach out to them again and again and again, all that type of stuff. Generated 37 leads at a cost per action at $3.45. And of course, I only have one ad directly promoting a lead magnet, so I'm not really like chasing leads. But if I go and I look at my retargeting campaign that is focused on getting leads, so my 18 free sales funnel offer here, we see that I'm getting leads at 56 cents. So the one that's geared at getting leads, I'm only spending 56 cents a lead. Now, of course, with the sales funnel book and the vault, like I'm going for purchases. So the fact I have any leads at all is kind of amazing. But of course, that's what's throwing off my average cost per lead amount, right? Because really I'm spending about 56 cents per targeted lead that I'm going after. Now coming back out here, we'll look at some other stuff real quick. So I've had 28 adds to cart across the whole thing, $4.56 per add to cart. So, you know, that's people getting close to buying stuff. I've had 9 purchases according to Facebook. So of course, Facebook stats might not be 100% accurate, but close enough for our example here. So 9 purchases, cost per purchase about $14.18 per purchase. So purchase conversion value $162. Again, this stuff isn't completely accurate, but close enough. And so just looking at it from a high level, made $162 and spent $127. So from the front, it's top or profitable, so you know that's pretty cool. Like profitable right off the front. That's not to mention that I'll be able to monetize these leads or some of these leads and monetize my retargeting audiences and all that type of stuff. So more money to be made, but it's nice to see something profitable right away. Now looking at clicks here, brought in 173 clicks, so you know that's good. You want lots of traffic, which again warms up the audience and you know more opportunity to convert them to buyers and all that type of stuff. Alrighty, so I hope you enjoyed the training. Now I have a quick special offer for you. So if you want a digital copy as well as an audio copy of my book here, as well as 20 pre-written emails to make your email copywriting a piece of cake. And I also have a 7-figure funnel. It's the first funnel that I built that generated over 7 figures of revenue for a small business. And the funnel includes a course on how to set it up and also how to actually sell that funnel to small businesses. So if you're interested in starting a digital marketing agency, that course and that funnel are an ideal option for you. And there's a bunch of other benefits and stuff, bonuses and stuff. Anyway, link in the description down below, or there's going to be a little button probably up here in the video if you're interested in checking it out. Yeah, just check it out if you're interested. And other than that, I hope you have a great rest of the day. Hey, it's Nathan Williams with Crazy Marketing. In this video, we talk about optimizing and scaling your Facebook ad campaigns. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. So the #1 rule of advertising on Facebook is to let Facebook's algorithm do the heavy lifting. Let their algorithm do the work for you, okay? Again, Facebook's algorithm, or Facebook, they have so much data on people. They know what websites people are going to. They know what products and services people are buying or what they're not buying. They know how they're engaging on Facebook, like who they're talking to, what groups they're in, what they're watching, what they're clicking on. They know all that type of information. They're also buying information from third-party providers, so they know what people are doing outside of Facebook and outside of the internet. So Facebook has so much information. You need to use it to your advantage. So to do that, you let the algorithm do the heavy lifting. And so you need to make sure your pixel is properly installed and configured on your website, and that you're properly tracking conversions and all that type of stuff. So you got to have all that stuff squared away. And then it's all about telling Facebook exactly what you want. Don't try and game Facebook, okay? You're not going to beat Facebook's algorithm, okay? It's not going to happen. You're going to want to do what Facebook wants you to do. You're playing in their sandbox. You're playing by their rules. Just give them exactly what you want, and Facebook can help optimize for your success. Again, Facebook wants you to be successful, because if you're successful, you're going to keep spending more money on Facebook, which makes them more successful, right? So they want you to succeed, believe it or not. So work with their system, work with their algorithm. That's the #1 rule for advertising on Facebook. Now, one way to work with their algorithm is give it the 50 objectives per week. So that's their standard. So that means like 50 conversions per week. Typically, it's a conversion of some sort. So this could be a view content. So they're viewing a page, or it could be a lead conversion event or a purchase conversion event, or whatever type of conversion you're going after in your advertising campaign. You need 50 of those objectives per week to feed the algorithm. All right, you could also do clicks or engagements as well, but typically you're going after conversion, so that's where we'll focus here. So again, 50 conversions per week. That's how you feed the algorithm. And where those objectives lie depends on where your budget is. So if you set your budget at if you're doing CBO or campaign budget optimization, that means that you set your budget at the campaign level. So if you set your budget at the campaign level, you need 50 conversions per week at the campaign level. So again, a campaign has ad sets and ads in it. So across all those ads and ad sets in that campaign, you need 50 conversions. Okay, that's if you're doing CBO. Now, if you're not doing CBO and your budget is set at the ad set level, well, then you need 50 conversions at the ad set level. Okay, so keep that in the back of your mind. Where your budget is set is where you need your objectives to take place. And you need 50 in order for it to count. Now, side note here, it's going to be very, very hard for you to get to 50 with smaller audiences. And so, like, for example, if you're retargeting people that have purchased some certain product and you only have a couple hundred people that have bought that product, well, it's going to be hard to get 50 of those 100 to buy, you know, another product probably. And that's okay, just so long as at the end of the day, your cost per objective is less than or equal what you want. So if you wanted to sell that next product for 10 bucks and people are buying it for $5 worth of ad spend, well, then you're in the green, even if you're getting less than the 50 objectives per week, right? So then at the end of the day, it comes down to making sure you're within budget. And with those smaller retargeting audiences, it is really hard to get, 50 conversions per week. So I just wanted to put that out there that, if you have small retargeting audiences, you're not going to hit the 50, but just pay attention to your numbers at the end of the day. Make sure you're profitable. Otherwise, of course, you'll go bankrupt or you won't have a successful campaign. Now, here's the very, very hard part is you're going to set up your campaign or campaigns or ad sets, and you're going to let it run for 2 weeks, and you're not going to touch it, okay? This is the hardest part, especially for newer marketers, is not touching things. I like touching things. It's like, oh, it's not working. Let me go touch it and try and fix it. Again, you cannot beat the algorithm, okay? The algorithm rules the world. You can't beat the algorithm. So you're going to set things up and don't touch it for 2 weeks, okay? That's very hard to do. Now, side note, if you're running like a flash sale or something like that and you don't have 2 weeks to optimize and do all this type of stuff, well, then you're just going to have to run and gun and, kind of cross your fingers and optimize fast. And it really comes down to your offer at that point in time. Like if you have a really good offer, like a lot of this optimization stuff isn't completely necessary because the offer will sell itself. But, that's for like flash sales and whatever. But for like a standard campaign, you need to give it those 2 weeks for Facebook's algorithm to understand what's going on. During this time, it's checking out different ads, different placements, different people, and, it's trying to figure out, combine all this stuff together and figure out what gives you the results that you're going after. So it needs those 2 week period in order to come to a consensus and figure out what actually works. Again, let the algorithm do the work, okay? So 2 weeks to let the algorithm figure things out, figure out what ads work, where, when, etc. All right, so now on to budget. So we can kind of work backwards from our end goal here. Now that we know that we need 50 conversions or objectives per week, we can kind of figure out our budget. So let's say that, for example, our end goal here is we want 10 cents a click, and we need 50 a week, right? That's 50 conversions or 50 objectives per week times 2 weeks is we got to plan to spend 10 bucks. So that's easy. Clicks are pretty easy, cheap, etc. Let's say that we're going after $2 a lead. So $2 per lead times 50 leads per week times 2 weeks equals 200 bucks. You need to budget out $200 to launch this campaign, let Facebook's algorithm optimize it, all that type of stuff, okay? At least 200 bucks. You could spend, 2,000 if you wanted to, but at the minimum 200, and at the minimum up here, 10. All right, so Now, let's say that we want to go with, $10 per purchase times 50 purchases per week times 2 weeks. We need to set aside $1,000 for this campaign. Now, as you're setting up your campaign, that's for your entire, end goal. So I want purchases. $10 per purchase is my end goal, but I'm going to have several sequences of traffic, right? I might have like some cold traffic, I might have some warmer traffic, and then I might have leads or something like that. And if you watch my other video on retargeting, this is what I'm referencing here. So I kind of recommend going to watch that retargeting video real quick, and then you'll know kind of what I'm talking about in terms of retargeting sequences. But we're going to apply the 80-20 rule for our retargeting sequences in terms of ad spend. So to break it down, we have cold traffic, let's say 80-20. So if we're spending $1,000, 80% of our budget's going to be on cold traffic, so that's $800 divided by 14 days, so we can expect to spend about $57 per day on cold traffic. So then the next level of traffic we're going to have are engagers. This is the cold traffic that has engaged with our ad, or people that have visited our website or something like that, but they haven't opted in or they haven't purchased anything. They just kind of seen us, floated around a little bit, engaged with our business, but haven't taken that next step of becoming a lead or a buyer. So we're going to spend $160 over the next 14 days, which is about $11 a day, on these people that have engaged with us but haven't taken the next step. And again, that is 80% of the $200 we have left over. When we subtract 1,000 minus 800 equals 200, and then 80% of 200 is 160, because we have another level of traffic, which is our leads. So these are people that have become leads with us, and we'll be targeted them. And so we're going to be spending the remainder of our budget, which is $40 for the next 14 days, which is essentially $3 per day on our leads. So if you add all that up, that's $1,000, and it covers 3 levels of traffic. And here's our little funnel here. And again, I recommend watching that retargeting video to kind of break down our traffic through our funnel here. But this is how it initially set up the various budgets for our various ad sets that we have created. And also, don't forget, your custom audiences can be used again and again and again and again. So once you have like an audience of people that have engaged with their business and they've been kind of warmed up, or an audience of leads or an audience of buyers, like, there are audiences. We can retarget them and do stuff with them, for days and years to come. So don't get so bent out of shape if you're spending a bunch of money and they're not converting right away, because you're still building audiences that you can retarget later on. So I just want to put that in the back of your mind, that all this money is not going to waste. You're still building audiences. In my particular example, I'm still hopefully getting leads. Even if I might not gain enough buyers, I'm still gaining leads, and I'm growing my audience of people that know who I am. So there's still more going on in the background than just that end goal, which are purchases. I want purchases, but I'm also getting people warmed up and leads. So I'm getting a bunch of stuff, even though my end goal is purchases. So just keep that in the back of your mind as you're running these ads. Now, after the 2-week period, you want to be looking at the second week stats. So the first week, is Facebook's algorithm going out there and figuring things out. The second week, it should be pretty dialed in at this point, assuming you didn't touch things. And this is where you want to look at the stats for that second week. So if you have greater than or equal to 50 objectives in that second week, you should be in budget, right? So for my particular example, I wanted $10 per purchase, right? I had a total budget of $1,000, and I wanted $10 per purchase. So week 2 here, I should have spent, about $500, and I should have at least 50 objectives. So then I should be, in budget or under budget. So I'm doing pretty good if I have greater than or equal to 50 objectives during that second week. So that's a good thing, right? So in that particular case, I'm going to let the thing run, and I can go ahead and increase my budget if I want to. Now, increasing budget has its own side effects, and I have another portion of this video dedicated to scaling that I recommend you watch as well, because it's not as easy as just increasing budget. There's some other things that kind of go into it, so I'll address that later on. But the main concept is, if it's working, you can throw a little bit more money at it. So just that's how that works. Now, if you're less than 50 objectives in that second week, well, then you're over budget, right? Because you have a budget here and you've achieved less objectives than you wanted to spend. Well, then, of course, that means you're over budget. So there's a couple ways to break this down. So if you're less than 35 objectives, so like you're kind of way off from those 50 objectives that you need, well, then you need to go back and reevaluate your budget and your goal and set realistic expectations possibly. Like, if you're like, yeah, I want $1 per customer, that's what I want to spend, that's my goal, but it's not realistic more than likely to spend $1 per customer. So you might need to, be realistic about what you're going after. If you're in a highly competitive market, like, leads are going to cost more, or buyers might cost more, whatever it might be. So you need to be realistic about how much a lead it costs and how much a lead might be worth. So if you're way off, evaluate what you're spending and if it's actually realistic. Also, if you're way off from the 50 objectives in that second week, you need to probably reevaluate your offers. Maybe your lead magnet or your products or your services aren't good, aren't stuff people want. Or maybe your sales pages aren't very good, or they don't address the problem well. Like, you got some work to do around what you're presenting to people at that point in time. You also might need to reevaluate your strategy. Like maybe going after this audience and sending them to this blog post first and then trying to convert them into a lead and then into a buyer. Like maybe that's the wrong strategy. Maybe you should go straight from cold traffic to buyer, or cold traffic to lead to buyer, or something like that. Like maybe your advertising strategy is just not a good strategy to begin with, and you might need to reevaluate how you're advertising to people. And then you might need to reevaluate your ads. Like maybe your ads just suck. Okay, that happens too. Like it's hard to make a good ad, and that's okay. But if you're way off from that 50 objectives in the second week, you got some work to do. I'm sorry to say, you kind of need to go back to the drawing board. Check make sure your budget and expectations are realistic. Like that's a big one there. But then, your offer, your strategy, your ads, you got some work to do. So sorry if you're in that position. If you're greater than or equal to 35 objectives, well, you still need to go ahead and reevaluate your budget and goal. Make sure you're setting realistic expectations. And then the next thing you probably need to do is check on your ads. Like you could probably optimize your ads well enough to get within your goal. Okay, if you're within 15 of those 50 objectives in the second week, then you can probably get there by optimizing your ads and maybe adjusting your budget / goals or expectations a little bit. Whereas if you're up here, like you got some serious fundamental flaws with your marketing. All right, so a little bit more on reevaluating your budget or goal and setting realistic expectations. I kind of talked about this already, but some more things. So another thing you could do is back off a tier. So for example, if you're going after purchase objectives and you're not getting enough, you're not getting those 50 a week, well then maybe go for add to cart, right? Because they have to add the product to the cart before they can buy it. So you might have, 55 add to carts and only 35 or 37 purchases. So you could get that 50 if you targeted ads to cart, whereas purchases, you're only at 37, for example. So maybe back off a tier of your objectives. So that could be one way to reach those 50 in a week. Also, one thing is to see if you can make more money on the back end. So yeah, maybe you do only want to spend $2 per lead, and that's the only way you could be profitable at this point in time. But maybe that means you need to go back to your business and figure out how you can extract more money and value from individuals. So how can you provide more value to your customers and extract more income from them? So instead of a lead being worth, $2 or $3, you can get the lead worth $5, in which case you can go ahead and spend more money on those leads and improve your budget and everything. And the next topic I want to talk about are reevaluating your ads. So first things first, you can go ahead and kill your underperforming ads. So ads that aren't giving you the objective you want at the cost you want. So if you're not getting the result you want from that ad, then you can go ahead and turn that ad off. Also ads that aren't delivering. So Facebook will typically pick 2 to 3 ads in an ad set and show those ads. So if you have more than 2 or 3 ads in that ad set, those other ads probably won't be being shown. So you can go ahead and just turn off those ads that aren't being shown. And again, turn off the ads that aren't performing to the standards that you need. And then what you want to go ahead and do is replace the ads that you killed. So any of those underperformers or non-delivering ads, you could go ahead and replace them. Just create a new ad right there in that ad set and let it run. Now, the only reason I'd say to replace any killed ads is if you don't have a good ad already. If you already have a good ad, then I would just turn off your underperformers or non-delivering ads and just leave your good ad in there. And a good ad is meeting your goal cost per objective. So if I wanted, $10 per purchase and I have an ad in there that's generating purchases for $8.73, well, then that is a good ad because it's generating the result that I want. I want $10 or less per purchase. That ad is providing me that. That's a good ad. So I'll cut off the other ads and let my good ad run. So that's how you go ahead and evaluate your ads. Now I get it, I just threw a whole bunch of information at you. I recommend you rewatch that first half there again because it's very, very valuable information. I know we weren't even in the ads manager at all, but it was all concepts that you need to understand when advertising. So you need to know about those 50 objectives per week. You need to know to wait that 2-week waiting period. Let Facebook's algorithm do the heavy lifting. You know how to set your budget now, what to look for, all that type of stuff. Very important, and we didn't need the ads manager to understand those concepts, right? But now, having said that, let's go to the ads manager, and I want to show you a couple things real quick so you know kind of what to look for. Now I'm in one of my old ad accounts, so it's got some data in here, so that's kind of cool. Instead of looking at my dummy account with no data, this one actually has data, so we can kind of look at some stuff, so that's cool. All right, so the first thing I want to go ahead and address here are the columns. So when you're in your ads manager, you notice that you got a bunch of columns here, and I've customized my columns, which is what I want to show you here, is how to customize your columns. So you're looking at the information that's relevant to your advertising efforts, so you're getting what you want. So to do it, you come up here to the columns area, and they have a bunch already pre-established, like performance is typically the default. And to be honest, this probably gives you enough information because it'll tell you how much you spent and how much how much cost per result, which is what we look for when we're optimizing things, is how much we're spending per that result, right? So it gives us that information, but you might want to get more fancy with your stuff. So come in here, and we can go to customize columns here. So customize columns. And they have hundreds of different columns. You could go ahead and click and decide to see or not see and all that type of stuff. And I have a list here of all the columns that I load up. So I'll include this list below the video. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. I'll include this list of columns below the video of what I use. And so if you want to copy it, it's a good baseline, and you can of course adjust it how you see fit. So let me start here. Let me just clear all this stuff out of here. So let's delete all these ones out of here. The campaign name. And I'm not going to add all of these right now because we'd be here for 10 minutes and I don't think that's value add. So the first one is campaign name, and that's the default. You have to do that. Up next we have delivery. So let's do delivery. And then I've got budget. So budget. And then I've got amount spent, amount spent. And see, it just builds the columns here, and of course you can drag and drop them, put them in the correct order you want. And then if you want to, once you have them all set up, you can go ahead and save it as a preset here. And I can be like demo columns. And I'll go ahead and hit apply here. And now we see that I have my 4 columns that I selected. And if I come here, we see I have demo columns right here, so I can easily select it from this drop-down menu, or I can go ahead and delete it if I want to. If I want to update this demo columns, I just come into customize columns, and I can be like, oh, I need to add results, because that's what we track, right? Results, and cost per result, and result rate. We'll throw all those in there, and we have those here as well. So now we have results, cost per result, result rate, and we can start seeing a breakdown of our information now. So we had 77 purchases, $9.93 per purchase. Result rate is 0.3%. All right, cool. And then we got to resave it as our name. So I'll go ahead and save as demo columns. Okay, and it'll ask us if we want to go ahead and replace this preset. We say yes. So now our demo columns has been updated with the 3 additional columns that we just added, right? So I recommend going and configuring your columns so you're looking at the information that's relevant. And again, here's my columns that I always load in there, and this is what it looks like. So it gives us a great breakdown of everything going on. So from delivery to budget to amount spent to our results, result rate, cost per purchase. and then it kind of breaks down through the funnel right here. So we have, let's see, leads, adds to cart, purchases, and so on. So we can track, how, our events are doing and all that stuff. So we see 231 adds to cart, but 77 purchases. So we have a pretty big drop off there, and maybe I got some room to improve between adds to carts and purchases and so on. So anyway, there's a lot you can dive into and look at, but I just wanted to show you the columns here because you need to make sure that you're looking at what you're optimizing for. So if it's optimizing for adds to cart and I needed it under $3, well, then I'm off. Or if I'm looking for cost per purchase and I need it under $10, well, then I'm doing good here, and I can keep running that campaign or that ad set and so on. So those are the columns and everything. Now if you go into an ad set and flipping things on and off, like I talked about killing things, that just means turn it on or off. So if we're looking at these 4 ads in this particular ad set, we can do some quick analysis and decide if we should kill something or leave it alone. Now we could get a little bit more advanced with statistical significance and stuff, but that's beyond the scope of this video. We'll just kind of eyeball it at this point in time. So looking at it, we see that Facebook obviously favors this ad right here. The bulk of the money has been spent on ad number 4 here, and it's giving us $3.63 per registration. So maybe that's within our goal, maybe it's not. The next ad that it's favoriting by spending more money is this one, which is costs $6.25. And let's say that is way above our goal. So to kill the ad, we'll just shut it off. Turn it off, it won't be delivering anymore. So now this next ad we have is getting registrations for $3.02, so that's doing pretty good. So I might leave that one run. And then our final ad here, we've spent about $10 and it's generated 0 results basically for us. Now it's still very early on, very few impressions and all that stuff, so that's where statistical significance will come into play. But for the sake of our example here, this one spent $5 more than this one, which is about 33% more in this particular case, but it's generated results. And so you would think that this one should generate results as well, so I'm gonna go ahead and kill that one as well. Now I have 2 ads going at it. And so let's say that my goal cost per result was less than $4. So in this case, I've got 2 ads performing under $4 per registration. So that's good. I wouldn't touch it after this point. I would just shut off the 2 ads that aren't really working, let the 2 ads that are working run, and let Facebook's algorithm do the rest for me. But let's say that I needed it under, $3 per registration. That was my goal. In that case, I might shut off ad number 4 here because it's got a lot of results, but they're $3.63, so I'm 63 cents off my goal. Ad number 3 here is $3.02, so I'm really close to my goal, and maybe now that I shut off the ad 4, this ad will start taking off and Facebook will optimize for it. But if I wanted to go ahead and create a new ad, I just click on here, I can go ahead and duplicate it, and I'd leave original campaign, number of copies, all that stuff, I'd leave like that. And I'd go ahead and duplicate it, and then I'd go ahead and change the copy, change the image, do whatever I need to go ahead and do to create a new ad. So I'd go through that process over here of creating a new ad and launch that new ad, and then Facebook would go start serving that ad and compete it against my ad 3, and hopefully I'd get under that $3 per registration to meet my result. So those are 2 things I wanted to show you in the Ads Manager: how to adjust your columns so you're looking at the data that you want to look at to make sure you're getting the results and objectives that you want to go ahead and achieve. And I also wanted to talk to you about how to actually kill those ads and create new ads, which I just showed you here. Now in this next bit of video here, we're going to talk about scaling. I talked about it briefly about how you can increase your budget, but we'll talk about like kind of an issue or what to think about when you're scaling. Hey, it's Nathan Williams with Crazy Ad Marketing. In this video, I'm going to share with you the #1 ad scaling mistake I see businesses making, and that's whether they're doing Facebook ads, YouTube ads, or just advertising in general. And don't worry, I've made this mistake myself, and I've seen plenty of other small businesses making the same mistake, and it's an easy mistake to make, but once you understand what it is, you'll be like, duh, and you'll be kicking yourself if you've been making this mistake as well. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, if you've ever tried to scale your advertising efforts, you know that it is not straightforward. And what I mean by that is, like, if you're putting $100 into your ads and you're getting $300 back out, and it's working day in, day out, $100 in, $300 back out, and you get an idea in your head like, why don't I just increase my daily budget to $200 a day, and then I'll get $600 back out, right? It should work like that, you would think, but as you probably know if you tried it, it doesn't work like that, like ever. So 99% of the time when you're scaling your advertising efforts, your ROAS, or return on ad spend, and your ROI, or return on investment, are going to decrease. And that's 99% of the time that your ROAS and ROI will go down. Now, yes, there's that 1% of the time where they seem to improve, and that's amazing, and keep pumping money in if that's the case. But 99% of the time, that's not going to happen. So for a practical example on how to explain this mistake that I see people making, let's go ahead and go with a $50 product and it nets $25. So that might be like cost of goods sold or cost to service the product or service that you're selling. So that's a 50% margin, right? So for example, let's say that we're putting $100 into our ads and we're getting a 5x ROAS, so return on ad spend. So that's pretty good. That's $500 back. And then of course we have to go ahead and subtract out $250 because we got to fulfill the products. Again, cost of goods sold, servicing, etc. So that's $250. That leaves us with $250, right? And then we got to go ahead and subtract out the $100 in ad spend that we made. So that leaves us with a $150 net, or a $150 ROI. So, that's good. 5x ROAS, 150% return on investment. Those are some pretty good stats right there. And so we're like, let's go ahead and scale up our advertising efforts. So let's go ahead and spend $1,000 a day. And when we do that, our ROAS, return on ad spend, drops down to 3. And so we bring in $3,000. Now, of course, we have to go ahead and fulfill those products. So we got to subtract out $1,500 because we sold 60 products at $25 a piece. And so that nets us $1,500. But of course, we got to go ahead and subtract out the $1,000 in ad spend, right? So at the end of the day, we're netting $500, and that's only a 50% ROI. So obviously, that's a lot less than 150% ROI. However, obviously, $500 is greater than $150, even though our ROAS and ROI isn't as good, right? Obviously, 500 is greater than 150. So that brings me to the point here. When it comes to scaling your advertising efforts, you need to pay attention to your bottom line. If your bottom line is getting bigger, you're doing better. Your scaling efforts are working. Again, if your bottom line is getting bigger, i.e., you're making more money's coming into your bank account, even if ROAS and ROI are going down, you're still doing better because more money is more money, right? That's a pretty simple thing to understand. And of course, that's not to say you should not be trying to improve ROAS and ROI along the way. However, more than likely, 99% of the time, it's gonna go down. But if your bottom line is getting bigger, you're doing better. So that's the number one thing you need to go ahead and remember when you are scaling your advertising efforts. And if you have clients and you're trying to explain how scaling works, you need to address their bottom line and be like, hey, look, I know you're putting $100 a day in and you're getting this much back out, and now we're putting more money in and you're getting not as good of results. However, you're making more money, right? So you need to be sure when you're scaling that you're focused on the right metrics, and that's your bottom line. When it comes to scaling, your bottom line is the metric to follow. And so that's it for this video. I just wanted to share with you the #1 ad scaling mistake that I see businesses making, and hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, I appreciate any sorts of likes, comments, subscribes, anything like that, and I hope that you have a great rest of the day. Alrighty, so I hope you enjoyed the training. Now I have a quick special offer for you. So if you want a digital copy as well as an audio copy of my book here, as well as 20 pre-written emails to make your email copywriting a piece of cake. And I also have a 7-figure funnel. It's the first funnel that I built that generated over 7 figures of revenue for a small business. And the funnel includes a course on how to set it up and also how to actually sell that funnel to small businesses. So if you're interested in starting a digital marketing agency, that course and that funnel are an ideal option for you. And there's a bunch of other benefits and stuff, bonuses and stuff. Anyway, link in the description down below, or there's going to be a little button probably up here in the video if you're interested in checking it out. Yeah, just check it out if you're interested. And other than that, I hope you have a great rest of the day.